Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast of Michigan Baseball. This is WCBN Sports, your student voice of Michigan Athletics. We're here at Ray Fisher Stadium, where Michigan Baseball is going to be taking on Northwestern in the second of a three-game series. Michigan got the upper hand by a significant amount last night in a two-rain-delayed game. They did end up getting 9 innings in. Michigan took the game 12-4. Kendall Patrick led the way with 3 runs and 5 RBIs. And today, the score is reset, but Michigan looking to do more of the same as the Big Ten's leading offense takes on the Wildcats. On the mound for Michigan, it's going to be Ryan Newtoff, who enters the game at a 4-3 record, a 2.95 ERA, with 51 strikeouts and 64 innings pitched. He's going to go up against the catcher, a senior, Scott Heelan, playing one of his final games of the year. He comes in with a .340 batting average, leads the team. 16 RBIs, 23 runs, only 1 stolen base. So he's got enough speed to make it to the leadoff. Joining me in the booth, I'm Zach Shaw, of course. Joining me is Andrew Hausman. And Andrew, you were broadcasting last night's game. What worked well for Michigan?
Well, Michigan had a very balanced offensive attack. Every single starter had at least 1 hit, 5 players with multiple hits. So just a balanced attack, and they've done what they've done all season long, which is string hits together. And in kind of a rare form for Michigan, they actually had showed some pop with 2 home runs off the bat of seniors Jackson Glines and Kendall Patrick. So kind of rare for this Wolverines team, not exactly known for their home run power, but able to get some big runs that way. But really what was big was the 6th inning when they were able to score 6 runs, and that inning actually had 2 rain delays within it, but the Wolverines just kept pounding away and really put the game out of reach at that point.
And Newtoff fires the first pitch inside, ball 1.
Time temperature 75 degrees.
First pitch at 12:02, 75 degrees here on a beautiful Ann Arbor day.
Newtoff with a 1-0 delivery. In there, strike 1. Nice low and away breaking ball. Tough to hit, even if you are Scott Heelan with your .340 batting average. The 1-1 delivery. And it's grounded up the middle. Bivens is going to get it. He's going to fire to first, but it goes past Benedetti. Heelan stays on first, but he's on. It looks like they are going to call that a hit, I believe.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Really no chance. A lot like Heelan's leadoff single last game, where it just kind of found his spot. Not very hard hit, but was able to get on base as a lead runner for the Wildcats here in the top of the first.
Next up for the Wildcats is Zach Jones, the junior first baseman, hitting from the left-handed batter's box. Did not have a good game yesterday. 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Not his best. And Heelan running on the pitch. It's a ground ball to Mazes. Mazes sends it over to Benedetti, who scoops it to make the first out of the inning.
Nice pick there by Benedetti. Another shaky throw from Travis Mazes. We saw some of those yesterday. A little more excusable with the wet turf, but today, pretty good playing conditions, and Mazes just hasn't shown that arm strength that we've grown accustomed to, but nonetheless, they're able to get the out.
Jack Mitchell steps up. Heelan does advance the second. He went ahead and was going on the pitch to avoid the double play, and he will settle in scoring position by second base. And Jack Mitchell steps up to the plate. Mitchell with a .232 batting average, but 2 home runs on the year in that 3rd spot in his 21st start of the season. Newtoff working from the stretch. In there, strike 1.
Nice breaking ball there from Newtoff. Newtoff settling back into that starter's role. We saw his first relief appearance last week against Iowa, but his only relief appearance of the year. Now he's back into his more familiar starting role.
Yeah, Newtoff, talking to Coach Bakich, seemed to be battling a little bit of ankle issues, so they didn't want to put him in the starting position. 0-1 pitch up the middle. Bivens fields it, sends it to Benedetti, and makes out number 2.
A nice job by Ryan Newtoff so far. We're only 3 batters into the game, but he's really been pounding low in the strike zone, just getting a lot of ground balls. All 3 batters have hit ground balls, although Heelan was able to reach. It's a good job commanding the bottom of the strike zone so far from Ryan Newtoff.
Yeah, Newtoff with 51 strikeouts and 64 innings pitched, so he can get it done if he needs to, but certainly forcing contact now. He goes up against Joe Hoscheit, and Hoscheit watches ball 1. 2 down, runner on third. Michigan working quickly on the defensive end, hoping to work not so quickly on offense. Newtoff with the delivery. It's brushes the low and away corner of the strike zone.
Maybe quick enough to get out of here by the time the storms roll in around 3:30. Wouldn't be looking for another rain delay here after the 2 last night.
Yeah, I think I can speak for everyone in the press box. We're a little sick of rain delays. I'm sure the fans didn't love them last night either. 2-1 count as Newtoff fires ball 2. Hochheit awaits the 2-1 pitch. It's high. Nearly got away from Kendall Patrick, the catcher, but he's able to make the stop. Michigan's lineup more or less the same. Johnny Slater's entered in right field, opposed to last night. The 3-1 pitch. It's sent to Slater, who thought about going for the catch, lets it bounce, and that's going to drive in Scott Heelan. And Northwestern takes a 1-0 lead.
I won't exactly call it a misplay, but perhaps he could have made that catch if he had read it a little bit better off the ball. I think if he had charged hard right away instead of just waiting, he waited about a second and a half right off the bat to kind of see where it was going, and that by that point it was too little too late. He had to let it play on one hop, and that scored the run. Northwestern takes an early lead.
Yeah. He was also playing deep as Hochheit's the cleanup hitter, and that's a ground ball to Cronenworth, who flips it to Bivens. That was Luke Dauk on the play, or on the hit, and Michigan will retire the side, not before giving up a run. Northwestern leads 1-0 as Michigan heads to the plate. It's going to be a little bit different of a batting order. You got Cronenworth, Bivens, Blind, Benedetti. So Bivens had himself a good past couple of games. He's worked his way back into that 2-hole where he was toward the beginning of the season. And you mentioned the balanced offense last night. You think that's going to continue today?
I think it definitely should. This isn't necessarily a strong pitching staff for the Northwestern Wildcats. They've had their struggles all year long, and that's really been one of the lead causes of, I guess, some of their struggles so far this year. Not the best either in non-conference play, as they're 15-34 overall and only 5-14 in the Big Ten. And a lot of that can be put duly on their pitching staff and just not their hitters, just really kind of struggle in all areas of the game, this Northwestern Wildcats team. But I think they should be able to just show some patience, get some hits, and if they're not going to get the there was good adjustments throughout the game yesterday by the Wolverines hitters, where when the bullpen came in and intended to throw more first pitch strikes, where the starter Magalonis yesterday would pitch around the Wolverines a little more, and the Wolverines were a little more patient, wait for a pitch to hit. So in the first couple innings, they showed some patience against Magalonis and sat back and got some good pitches to hit. And then once the bullpen came in and threw a lot of first pitch strikes, the Wolverines were able to adjust in the later innings and add a lot of those insurance runs that put the game completely out of reach.
For Northwestern, pitching is going to be junior Matt Portland. The left-hander comes in with a 2-6 record, a 3.81 ERA, and 78 innings pitched with 28 walks and 52 strikeouts. So not necessarily real dominating stuff, as you mentioned. Northwestern, not one of the stronger pitching staffs you'll see in the Big Ten or anywhere. His opponent batting average is 300, which is really, coincidentally, actually Michigan's team batting average. So we'll see just what Michigan can do against this Portland pitcher who doesn't bring a whole lot.
And also what pops out is that the batting average of leadoff hitters is 469. So just a lot of issues with allowing runners to get on base early, and then just you have to work from the stretch, and you have to concentrate on those runners on as well, keeping them from moving. That can be distracting as a pitcher. And normally I don't read too much into these stats. It's a small sample size. But when you're a starting pitcher like Matt Portland, who's pitched 78 innings, this shows you that pretty much half of leadoff batters get on, and then you're going to run into some trouble.
Cronenworth sees ball 1. Portland working out of the windup. Cronenworth, as usual, had himself a nice day. Went 2 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs yesterday. He watches ball 2 and works himself into an early hitter's count. Portland winds up for the 2-0 delivery. Just inside. Already behind 3-0, as you mentioned. Has a propensity to allow leadoff hitters to get on base. The 3-0 pitch. And they fires in the first strike of his start. 3-1 count.
Wildcats continue to play very deep all around, much like yesterday. Pretty much a no doubles look, pretty much against all the Wolverines batters, where the Wolverines have one of the more aggressive outfield lineups you'll see. Compared to almost all the opponents, they're going to tend to play a little more in than a lot of their opponents. But Northwestern, some of the deepest I've ever seen, one of the most conservative looks for. Here we're in the bottom of the first, and they're very deep in a late inning no doubles look.
It certainly helps when you're facing a team that leads the Big Ten in doubles. Cronenworth got the walk, and now Bivens lays down a bunt. Third baseline. Oh, it's a beauty, but it goes just foul. Inches foul. Looked for a while there that was going to be another bunt for a base hit. Bivens had one last night.
And a smart play there by the freshman third baseman, Lind, just able to let that one go foul. And he knew that was his only chance of stopping Jake Bivens. He knew if he tried to pick that one up and throw it, Bivens was going to be in there safely. So he knew his only shot was to let it go foul. Indeed, it did. And that will just be a strike, leading to an 0-1 count for Jake Bivens.
Yesterday, Bivens went 2 for 3, scored 2 runs, also reached via walk. So showing a high on-base percentage as of late, earning himself the second position in the batting order, and allowing Glines, who's showcased a little power last night with a Gline drive home run, if you will. He'll be in the 3-hole looking to drive home some of these runners. Portland from the stretch fires a high 1-1 count.
Cronenworth doing a lot of dancing around at first base. Nate Jones holding with him there. We saw especially in the first pitch of the at-bat, Cronenworth was literally dancing around, but now he's doing it again.
Cronenworth 10 for 18 in stolen bases, and Portland will send it over to first base.
And I think this might be part of the scouting report on Matt Portland, is really trying to distract him with the runners on. Of course, he does it. His batting average against drastically improves with runners on, 266 on the year compared to the 450 against leadoff hitters. But still, no pitcher, as any pitcher can tell you, it's a lot more comfortable pitching with the bases empty than with runners on to distract you and kind of slow down the running game. So that's exactly what Cronenworth is trying to do here, get in the head of Matt Portland, and the Wolverines try and respond to that early run by the Wildcats.
And Scott Heelan, the catcher, went out to talk to Matt Portland. Probably, as you mentioned, just to settle him down, let him know the dancing doesn't mean much. Cronenworth is a threat to steal a bag, but I think Scott Heelan feels comfortable in his ability to make the play himself. Portland with the 2-1 pitch inside. Now, Portland has thrown 9 pitches, and 7 of them have been for balls. The 3-1 count on Bivens. Portland delivers. And it's outside. He's now walked the first 2 batters of the game, which against Michigan's lineup is probably not a good formula for success, as Jackson Glines steps up to the plate. He no longer leads the Big Ten in batting average, but his .359 batting average is nothing to sneeze at. That includes a home run last night, 3 triples, and 12 doubles. 23 RBIs on the year, looking to add to that total here.
This is a new walk-up song for
it
Jackson
is a new
Glines.
one. He went with the classic rock for about a year and a half, and he is switching it up.
Perhaps due to his slump where he's really dropped down his batting average, trying to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like all the players slumped in their loss to Iowa on Sunday, and then they fell 7-0 to Illinois Chicago in Chicago. That was a bit of a surprising one. Illinois Chicago does look likely to make the tournament, but a lot of people thought Michigan was going to win that game handily or easily, but they were unable to score, and they only got 4 hits in the game. They rebounded against Central Michigan, winning 6-5 in 10 innings.
Yeah, that was an ugly win. Me and Kevin Klein took the trip up to Mount Pleasant, and the Wolverines jumped out to a 5-0 lead.
Glines sends the ground ball. Northwestern trying to turn 2. They don't. They did get the play as Zach Jones, the first baseman, threw it over to Stevens, the shortstop. But Portland was covering first, but Glines has a little bit of speed, able to make it there in time. There are now runners on the corner with 1 out.
And I think the throw beat Glines, but Portland wasn't quite there in time, getting over to cover first base in time. And Glines was really hustling down that line. So I think And kind of in sequential order, it went. The ball got there first, then Glines, then Portland. And because Glines got there before Portland with the ball, he was called safe.
And that brings up Carmen Benedetti, who's having himself quite the sophomore campaign. He currently leads the Big Ten with 22 doubles and 57 RBIs. Looking to add to both of those totals here. Glines on first, Cronenworth on third. And Portland throws it over to first base, keep Glines in check.
My broadcast partner yesterday, Eli Sherman, mentioned Benedetti as potential All-American. What do you think of those assertions?
I think he's got quite a ways to go, especially the designated hitter position. He doesn't really have that many numbers. I mean, he certainly can hit. 369 batting average, 22 doubles, just 5 off the national lead there. But I think, I guess it depends on how many teams they decide to field with All-American. But first team, there are just some guys that are doing some incredible things throughout the country. Big Ten isn't necessarily known as a hotbed for hitting. There are guys who are hitting in the 450, 460 range. I think you have to give the edge to those guys, especially if they're playing in tougher conferences. 1-1 count of Benedetti, who grounds it over to second base, has a chance to get there, is beaten by a couple steps, but he does drive in a run. Piker fields the slow ground ball at second base. Portland there to cover, but Cronenworth comes in to score, and it's now 1-1 baseball.
And not the best piece of hitting by Benedetti, but he gets the job done, able to get the run in, avoid the double play there. Just too weakly hit. Remind me a lot of his second at-bat yesterday, where just kind of a little dribbler, but was able to knock in the run with an RBI ground out. That's what he does here, ties the game up. And still a runner in scoring position, and a quick one at that in Jackson Glines for Cody Bruder.
Portland's gotten 2 outs so far as he faces Cody Bruder. First pitch is a ball. Still struggling with control, already at 15 pitches. Gotten lucky with a couple weak ground balls, but certainly showcasing the more of the 26 walks that he has and the 51 strikeouts. 28 walks. Portland with the 1-0 pitch. It's outside.
Make that 30 with the 2 walks he's had this inning.
Bruder now ahead 2-0 in the count.
Bruder also with a solid game yesterday, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Balanced attack for the Wolverines, as we mentioned.
Bruder grounds it foul as it heads towards the Michigan dugout. Make the count 2-1.
Travis Mays is on deck, hitting in the 6-hole today, moved down from the 3-hole yesterday.
And he's been slumping as of late. He did get a double yesterday. Help himself break out of it. Glines playing games at second. Portland wants to step off, keep things under control.
Piker almost snuck in there behind Glines, but I'm sure Glines is aware, knows where the second baseman is.
Portland fires 2-1 pitch. Bruder grounds it foul, just foul. Looks like it might have been able to sneak into left field for a base hit in the third base line, but it went foul. It's now 2-2. The alumni band is honoring us with their presence today, making the game a little bit more of a game day atmosphere, even though the crowd hasn't quite filled out too much, as there is an anticipated storm arriving. I guess they're expecting around 2, 3 o'clock. And Bruder swung on and missed, and he will be struck out. Portland ends the inning. Michigan does get 1, and the game is tied at 1 after 1 inning played.
And the Wolverines able to get that 1 run without benefit of a hit. So as you mentioned, those 2 walks to begin the inning did come back to hurt Portland a little bit. Wolverines still without a hit, but they're able to tie up this game. Get right back into it now. You're just going to be looking for a few shutdown innings as we move into the second and third.
And we've seen quite a few quality performances from Ryan Newtoff, especially at home. There was the time that he really shut down Maryland. There was another time where he went to town against Purdue. Against Iowa, as you mentioned, didn't get the start. In relief, he was pretty strong. He didn't give up any runs, but he's just a freshman. It's an interesting dynamic for Michigan right now because their ace for much of the season was Cronenworth, but Hill was the ace last season. He's trying to work his way back, but statistically, you have to give the edge to Newtoff or Adcock. What do you think of this rotation moving toward the big series against Oklahoma State next week and then the Big Ten tournament?
Well, I do like how this shapes up, and the three that Coach Eric Bakich is going with this weekend. I kind of like this order of Hill, Newtoff, Adcock, switches to off balance, alternating lefty, righty, lefty. And I maybe, as you mentioned, with Newtoff having maybe arguably a little better year than Evan Hill, as he's just pitched a lot more. Evan Hill still trying to bounce back from that injury. Maybe you could put Newtoff in that Friday night starter role. So maybe the only thing I changed, but I do like these three. I think Cronenworth belongs in the bullpen where he can start out in the field as we see him today and yesterday, and then have a chance to warm up a little bit and come in the late innings and really shut down the opponent.
Well, Newtoff will get ready for his second inning of work. He's going to start off against R.J. Waters, the center fielder. Not a huge sample size, only 35 at bats, but he does have 14 hits for a 400 batting average. None for extra bases.
Waters 2 for 3 yesterday, also with an RBI.
And Waters grounds it foul. It heads out of play on the third base side. Right-hander gets the sign from his third base coach. Doesn't appear to be much of a bunt threat, but the infield is playing awfully deep. And he shows bunt. That pitch is high and outside. 1-1 count. Think there's anything to read into about that bunt sign?
Well, Waters does have the most stolen bases on this team. Not a whole lot with 3, but that does lead the Northwestern Wildcats. So he does have some speed, and I'm very surprised that Miz is playing as far back as he is.
Newtoff with the 1-2 delivery is lined up the middle. Cronenworth not able to get it. That's going to be a base hit. And as you mentioned, the leader in stolen bases on Northwestern's team reaches base for the 15th time. And that brings up the shortstop, Cody Stevens, who comes in with a .260 batting average.
Should be noted he's the leader in stolen bases, but he only has 2 more stolen bases than Carmen Benedetti. So nothing against Benedetti, but
he's a big guy. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, this is not a Northwestern team known for their base running prowess.
Waters takes the lead off first. Stevens hints at bunt, but Newtoff was looking for the pitch out.
Northwestern with some early hits haven't always been that hard. That was the first really that hard of hit ball we've seen
from either team. Newtoff with the pitch. Stevens sends it into right field. Slater's able to field it, but Waters will advance. Stevens will reach base, and just like that, Newtoff already working himself into a jam. 2 on, nobody out for Northwestern.
Yeah, after some cheap hits in that first inning produced a run, just kind of finding the right spots. Back-to-back pieces of solid contact by Waters and Stevens, and the Wildcats something brewing here. Fortunately for the Wolverines, 2 fairly weak hitters coming up in Pikert and Lynn, both freshmen as well. So they get some big outs here against the easier outs in the lineup before you get to Scott Heeland at the top.
Pikert sends a bunt. Mazes fields it, sends it to first, and he'll make the first out of the inning. But Northwestern able to advance 2 runners into scoring position, looking to retake the lead as this game is tied at 1.
And normally I'm not in favor of the bunt there, but to eliminate the double play possibility with the aforementioned Pikert and Lind coming up, does not very strong hitters, 250 and 220 on the year respectively. You want to eliminate that and make sure you get Scott Heeland a chance to bat with runners on base.
Connor Lind steps up to the plate, and he sends it over, and that's going to break through. Northwestern gets 1. They're going to hold Stevens. as Bruder sent it home. And now Northwestern has runners in the corners, and they take a 2-1 lead as that ball got past Jake Bivens.
Yeah, once again, another piece of solid contact and in the right spot. The Wolverines have not had any luck here in terms of hard hit balls right at their fielders. They've all just been in the perfect spots where their fielders can't make a play on the ball. And that one, perhaps a little fortunate that Stevens didn't come home, although Bruder did come up throwing. I think he maybe scored on that one, but being conservative with only one out here and your best hitter coming to the plate.
Bruder showcased an arm previously as that ball will go foul. Scott Heelan steps up to the plate with runners on the corner, one out. Bruder has already thrown a few Big Ten runners out, so I'm guessing that Northwestern doesn't want to take chances, especially this early on in the game. You don't want to lose out on a run with your leadoff hitter coming up. But, yeah, you mentioned that ball really just threaded through Mazes and Bivens in the perfect spot where either one could get it.
Yeah, but there's been all of this inning, all three hits this inning have been solid contact. They've been barreling it up, hitting it right off the sweet spot in the bat. And these haven't been any cheapy hits like in that first inning. Northwestern's getting some offense going, and not exactly what we expected here, especially facing Ryan Newdoff.
Scott Heelan, who got as what you call a cheapy hit, a little ground ball just over Newtoff's head, unable to make a play.
I think it was fair to call that a cheapy hit.
No, I agree. It's just an affectionate term. It's cheapy hit. It's like a baby chick. But he'll step up to the plate, looking to extend Northwestern's lead. Northwestern up 2-1. The 0-1 pitch in there, strike two.
And now Newdoff can afford to waste a few pitches here per se and try and get Heelan to chase on something out of the zone. Only 9 strikeouts all season long, though, for Heelan, so that may be difficult.
The 0-2 pitch grounded to Mazes, who fires it over to Benedetti, able to make the out, but Northwestern tacks on another run. They've already got 3 here. They're up 3-1 in the top of the second.
And once again, that one was just kind of a weakly hit ground ball, but a high chop, and that prevented Mazes from charging it. He had to wait and let it come down to him, so he wasn't able to make any play at home, unable to have any shot of Cody Stevens. Cody Stevens saw how high the bounce was and was able to hustle home for the Wildcats' 3rd run of the game.
Zach Jones steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 6 on the series so far. He grounded out to Mazes. First time up in the first inning. 2 away. Runner on second. That's Lind. Michigan trying to get out of this jam. And Jones grounds it up the middle. No one's going to get it. And Lind's going to come around, try to score. And he is set. And Patrick sends it over to second. Cronenworth able to make the play. So to recap, Jones, base hit up the middle. Lynn comes around to score. Jones tries to extend it to second on the throw home, and he is thrown out. Northwestern gets a 4th run, 3rd run of the second inning. They take a 4-1 lead, but that will end the threat. And now it's Michigan hitters' time to step up and go to work.
And another ball just found the right spot, right up the middle, right over the bag at second base. Neither Bivens or Cronenworth able to get to that one. And then Glyons was playing actually fairly deep for a Michigan outfielder and didn't hustle. If he had come in and hustled all the way right off the crack of the bat, I think he would have had a shot to get Lind at home, but he hesitated just a little. We saw that with Slater in the first inning. Had to say a little bit off the crack of the bat. Same thing with Glyons there. So another misplay, if per se, by the Wolverines outfielders cost them the run. As that was a very close play at home. I thought they were going to get him, but a nice slide by Lind. Once again, the freshman showing that, he may not be the most adept hitter, able to get the job done in terms of in the field and base running. So Lind able to come around to score, and then a nice throw by Kendall Patrick, pretty much like a stolen base attempt, and able to pretty easily nab Jones at second base. And Wolverines have their work cut out for them here. They still are without a hit. They do have that run, but that was all without a benefit of a hit, thanks to the 2 walks by Matt Portland. So Wolverines need to get some hits, and you can't like what you're seeing on the other side with Newdorf getting hit hard. Already 6 hits in 2 innings.
So if you're Michigan coach Bakich, you've got starters or people who have started kind of at the ready. You have Cronenworth, who's done starts. You have Keith Lehman, who has started in the past. Are you thinking about tapping into that already to make sure that you can get this win, or are you letting Newtoff try to work out his own problems?
Well, I think you give Newdorf. I'm going to give Newdorf one more chance in the third, and hopefully try and get a quick inning, get back into his rhythm. But if he lets maybe the first 2 runners on, I think you really got to think about a pitching replacement. We don't see anyone warming up in the bullpen right now. Someone could be in the indoor facility, but unlikely. So I think you give him one more inning, and if he runs into trouble there, I think it's time to pull him. You got to limit the damage. As we mentioned, this is not a very powerful Northwestern lineup.
It's going to be Mazes, Patrick, and White. Not a bad bottom of the order to start with. Portland fires strike 1 on Mazes.
And there really are no easy outs in this Wolverines lineup. That's a big change from last year when you get down to those last few hitters, and it'd be pretty easy outs for the opponents to work through. But here, top to bottom, all-around success, and that's led to the Big Ten's #1 offense.
Portland's 0-1 pitch hits the plate. The 1-1 pitch, Mazes watches strike 2, and he's been really slumping as of late. His average has dropped down to 310.
Still nothing to scoff at.
The 1-2 pitch, low and away, 2-2 count. Portland already has 2 strikes on Mazes, but really still that control, not much to be desired. Already has 2 walks. The 2-2 pitch, inside and low, full count.
Wolverines are working up the pitch count on Matt Portland. Already 25 pitches here and we're in the first batter of the 2nd inning.
And Mazes struck out. He fires his bat. He is not happy. Obviously slumping. Didn't love the call.
Well, he flipped his bat away like he was a walk. I thought it was too. It looked pretty high from up here, but I don't think umpire Herbert Jones Jr. appreciated the gesture before the call was made. He rung him up, and that was a borderline call, so it really could have gone either way. I don't think he appreciated Mazes' bat flip, and as a result, he's rung up.
That brings up Kendall Patrick, who had himself quite the game yesterday. Really was probably the player of the game. He watches strike 1, looking to continue his hot streak. That ball's in the dirt to even the count at 1. 1 away, nobody on for Patrick, who had 5 RBIs, including a 2-run home run in the 4th inning, excuse me. The 1-1 pitch. He fouls it off his leg for strike 2.
Quickly down 1-2 here.
That pitch is in the dirt, even the count at 2.
Kendall Patrick has had a big. He's only he did have the only 1 hit yesterday, 1 for 2, and he only had 1 hit Wednesday against Central Michigan. But both hits were big time hits, as Zach mentioned. The 2-run home run yesterday, and then also a 2-out 2-run single in the 1st inning against Central on Wednesday to give the Wolverines a 3-0 lead.
The 2-2 pitch. Patrick swings, misses, but it gets by Scott Heelan. He's going to reach with a drop 3rd strike.
Not every day you see that one, and that one looked like he did it intentionally. You could tell that one was in the dirt, and he knew he was going to scamper down to first base, but I've almost never seen anyone do that. Do you think that was on purpose, or just kind of or you just swung and missed?
It looks like it was on purpose. It was a fast swing, and there was already been a few that were in the dirt. So I think he was just taking his chances, but interesting strategy. Patrick, not necessarily the fastest guy on the team, one of the heftier Michigan players, and we do mean that endearing, as he does have 5 home runs. He's certainly able to get the job done, but not necessarily one you would think to reach on drop 3rd strikes.
Yeah, I think that perhaps some of the veteran experience of a senior catcher. You very good at identifying when pitches could cause some trouble for a catcher like yourself. And so you see that, and it was kind of a late swing. I think he just kind of threw his bat across it once he knew it was going to be trouble for Scott Heelan, and was able to get on base. So still no hits for the Wolverines, but they get another base runner here and still only one out for Kevin White.
That brings up Kevin White. White hasn't had quite the at-bats I think a lot of people expected him to have this season. As he watches strike one.
Well, as Eli and I mentioned yesterday, we kind of saw so many different phases of the hitting progression all in one game yesterday. We saw the new and improved Kevin White of recent weeks where he took a lot of pitches and showed some defensive hitting.
The 0-1 pitch.
Showed some defensive swings there in that first at-bat, fouled off a number of pitches, was able to lace a 2-strike single after falling behind 0-2 to left field. So a nice piece of hitting there. Then his second at-bat, just back to the Kevin White of last year, where he's just poor plate discipline, lots of big cuts, and ended up striking out looking on a borderline pitch. And then even more impressive in his third at-bat, we saw Kendall White 3.0, Kevin White, 3.0, where he took some pitches, and then not only that, he laced it the other way, which we rarely see out of a dead pull hitter like Kevin White, and a very nice opposite field single to score a run, and then heads up base running to get down to second base on the throw.
Portland has worked the count to 1-2. Sends a pickoff attempt over to Patrick. I will never understand why so many people try pickoff attempts on Kendall Patrick. That ball's in the dirt. 2-2 count on Kevin White. We'll see which Kevin White is at the plate today.
Perhaps Kevin White 4.0.
I don't know how many different Kevin Whites you can have before it's just baseball and the standard variance occurs when you're at the plate.
Come on, a little fun, Zach.
2-2 pitch. It's fouled off White's leg. Northwestern seemed a little confused as to whether it's fair or foul. Home plate umpire rules it foul.
And now Herbert Doan will come out there and have a word. Excuse me, that was just to give him the ball back. I was kind of confused with what was going on there. Like,
you're ready for a fight
between the home plate umpire and the starting pitcher.
You never know.
We've seen stranger things.
Northwestern's had a strange season. They had pretty high expectations that they've not met them. They've gone 5-14 in Big Ten play. They're currently 12th in the conference, and then 15-34 overall. Their head coach is resigning, but that certainly won't stop his fire. And we don't know which Kevin White that was, but he struck out.
That was Kevin White 1.0.
1.0. Okay.
I can verify that one for you.
Thank you. That brings up Johnny Slater. Johnny Slater didn't start yesterday. Unclear whether it was for injury or a recent slump. He had picked things up, gotten his batting average to around 250, including a lot of extra base power, but that had teetered off as of late. But he does get the start today in right field and in the 9 spot. And he sends a foul ball just over the press box.
I was ready.
I'm glad. You're not going to get one.
I'm going to get one.
I don't think you are. But 0-1 count on Slater.
Yeah. Never have I seen such dramatic swings within a season as Johnny Slater. Absolutely dismal at the plate to start the year, then really picked it up. As you mentioned, got all the way up to 250. Now he's very quickly back to 214. When Kevin Klein and I were in Mount Pleasant this week, when we looked at the stat sheet, and Slater was all the way down to 214. And we're like, how did that happen? That went 250 to 214 real quick.
Real quick. 0-2 count on Slater. Swung on and foul on the first base line. Had some good contact, but it only extends the count.
And they say baseball is a game of inches, and we've seen that so far today with Northwestern's contact finding holes and just getting to where it needs to go, where the Wolverines have had a few hard hit balls just a little bit foul each way.
Portland with the 0-2 pitch. High and outside, tried to catch Slater chasing. Unable to do so. 1-2 count. The 1-2 delivery. Slater sends it, and it interesting play there as Zach Jones lost his glove on the ground ball and then went over and rolled to go get the ball. Tries to send it to Portland, but Slater has some speed in those cleats, and he's able to make it there with would you call that a hit or an error?
I call that a hit.
Hard hit ball.
We haven't
bounces
seen the
off
ruling from the score yet.
Jones's glove. Looks like, yeah, still no ruling.
And by saying bounce off the glove, you neglect the most interesting part of the play.
Knocked
Took
off
the glove.
No, the glove went with it. I did mention that. And then Jones, really, I guess that's the best improvisation you could do. That brings up Cronenworth and resets the order. And
that will be called a single. So Wolverines' first hit of the day. I don't think you can really call that an error. I mean, it would have been a very difficult play. and I think that was a smart play by Jones.
It was about as good as you could do, given that your glove is gone and the ball is elsewhere. He was clearly taken off guard, but hard hit ball by Slater. He probably could have snuck into right field and kept going had Jones not sacrificed his glove for the play.
But he didn't exactly like throw it up in the air. You can't throw your glove at the batted ball.
He didn't. The glove got in the way. It got taken off. And Slater's on first. Patrick is on second. Two on, two out for Cronenworth.
Yeah, we saw an interesting play like that in the major league level this year when John Lester of the Chicago Cubs got a ball stuck in his glove and ended up he wasn't able to get out of his glove, so he just threw his glove with the ball in it over to first base. The first baseman dropped his own glove, caught the glove, and recorded the out.
Cronenworth watches the 1-1 pitch. It's low and away. Make it 2-1.
Outfield very deep on Cronenworth, respecting his power.
He does. He's tied for the team lead with 5 home runs. Leads the team in stolen bases, so certainly capable of doing a lot of things at the plate. Portland with the 2-1 pitch. Cronenworth sends it high and deep center field, and that's going to be caught by Waters to end the inning, but probably the best contact we've seen all game from either team.
Yeah, a very hard hit ball, but right to Waters out there in center field. He's able to drift over, make a catch, and the Wolverines get their first hit of the day, but no more. And we head to the top of the third. 4-1 Wildcats here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and you're listening to WCBN Sports, the student voice of Michigan Athletics. I'm Zach Shaw, and joining me in the booth today is Andrew Hausman. And we've seen a lot of Michigan and Northwestern this weekend. We spent a lot of time here at the ballpark. How surprised are you at this 4-1 deficit that Michigan's already facing?
I'm pretty stunned. We didn't see a lot out of the Northwestern offense yesterday as expected, and I really didn't expect any offense or any significant offense against Newdorf today, especially based on how well he's been pitching. I mean, that Iowa relief appearance, they came off a nice start at Minnesota. That absolutely shut down performance against Purdue, and perhaps maybe that ankle still bothering him. It's just a lot of hard hit balls by Northwestern, able to get some solid contact. Well, they're maybe not hitting line drives into the outfield gaps or doubles or lacing any extra base hits. They're stringing hits together and building some getting some runs on the scoreboard. And 4-1 is an important early lead to have. You want to get as many runs as you can against this potent Wolverines offense.
And Ryan Newtoff, for his struggles, is only at 25 pitches. So if he can settle in, I don't think Backett has too many problems with keeping him in the game. But that's a big if on that if he can settle in. So far, he's already given up 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. No strikeouts, no walks, but certainly not overpowering Northwestern like he may have been expected to do so prior to the start.
Yeah, I think what he needs to do is really show a little more patience and pitch around these Northwestern batters a little more. They're getting a lot of contact on the first pitch swinging, and just maybe needs to throw the first pitch out of the strike zone and make Northwestern wait or swing and miss at some bad pitches, because they're teeing up these first pitch strikes, and that's allowed them to get have some early success so far.
A few Wolverines went to the clubhouse, and one of them has already returned. but that was Kevin White. But we'll let you know if we see anything in regards to bullpen or anyone warming up. But for now, it's the 3-4-5 hitters as Jack Mitchell steps up to the plate. He watches ball one. Guess that was low. It looked good from the press box, but nonetheless a 1-0 count.
Yeah, those are the ones that tend to deceive us the most. Just a different eye angle here than the home plate umpire.
Newtoff working quickly. There's strike one in the high outside portion of the strike zone.
This is an interestingly constructed lineup by head coach Paul Stevens, where
as Mitchell fouls it over to the Michigan dugout on the third baseline,
where arguably that the two best hitters in this lineup are numbers 1 and 2, and 3-4-5 isn't as potent as you would expect.
The 1-2 pitch is sent foul the other way on the first base side, as you can hear the crash noise near the parking lot. Hopefully that wasn't my car.
Looks like it was. Looks like you got a new windshield.
No, you can't even see. Stop it. It's not nice. The 1-2 pitch is high, 2-2 count.
Which parking lot are you in, Zach?
I'm in that direction.
You should know by now. You've been to how many baseball games?
No,
Zach?
I'm not in a dangerous situation, but I wanted to be relatively close to the field. I think I'm safe. You would have to really launch it deep and foul to hit my car.
I've seen stranger things.
Yeah, like a glove coming off for the first base hit. And Newtoff strikes out Mitchell, able to win that battle. One away, nobody on. This is already looking better than in those first 2 innings.
And they're perhaps wasting a few more pitches, getting to the full count, but with the low pitch count, pitching around these Wildcats batters and gets the swing and miss there.
Newtoff starts his battle with Joe Hoscheit, left fielder. Had a single last time and an RBI. 0-1 pitch. Newtoff working quickly. And that breaking ball floats in there, but it goes low. Ball 1. Clouds starting to roll in. I don't think we're going to have rain in the near future. We may have it later on in the afternoon as Newtoff fires a second strike. Still a beautiful day. As you mentioned, 75, 76 degrees. A fantastic day for baseball. And if you like what you hear, you may want to join us at Ray Fisher Stadium. And Newtoff, with his second strikeout of the inning, sent down Hoscheit. And that sequence, 4-pitch sequence, took a total of probably about 40 seconds.
Yeah, and great breaking ball there by Newtoff. That's his second strikeout of the inning, and both have come on that breaking ball, first getting the swing and miss, and now the strikeout looking by Hoscheit. So doing a good job trusting his breaking ball a little bit after Northwestern teed off on his fastball, mixing up his pitches here, and hopefully he can get an easy inning by retiring the Michigan native, Luke Dowk.
Yeah, Luke Dowk from West Bloomfield sends a high foul ball on the first base side toward Ferry
Field.
Field.
Goes right off Zach's car.
No, see, it's not that funny. That one did actually go to the track, relatively close to my car, but I think we're safe. As Dowk watches strike 2, 1-2 count, 2 away.
This is why you park several blocks away like I did.
Look, I don't need your criticism right now. 1-2 count, Newtoff inside, evens the count at 2, 2 away, nobody on. Newtoff working quickly, coming back with a vengeance with 2 early strikeouts in the top of the third. Newtoff winds up, and Dowk fouls it, the first base side. First base coach wanted nothing to do with it. I'll keep my comments to myself, but that was not the strongest effort from the Northwest coach.
We're used to some Gold Glove appearances by the Michigan coaches, so high expectations to meet.
Newtoff with the 2-2 pitch outside.
And it appears there's a fairly large Dowk contingent down the first base line. They were heavily applauding his plate appearance.
Dowk sends another one foul on the first base line. Slater burning some calories, getting these foul balls. He is. the full count. And he walked Dowk. So he got his first 2 strikeouts of the game, and now he has his first walk of the game.
Yeah, really disappointing there from Newdorf. Looked like he was going to have an easy inning. Got well ahead of Dowk, but gave him one of his first walks of the season. It's only his 5th walk all year long against a 222 hitter. So not what you're looking for with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd.
Dowk got caught a little off guard out on first base, taking a pretty large lead. Newtoff attempted the pickoff, but Dowk was able to make it back in time. 2 away, runner on first. And a big swing and a miss by R.J. Waters, the center fielder. Had a single up the middle his last time up. The inning in which Northwestern scored 3 runs. The 0-1 pitch. Waters sends it to right field, and that goes foul. Looked like it was going to be another bloop, kind of right place, right time single for Northwestern, as that one was in between Slater and first baseman Carmen Benedetti.
And the first baseman here in this game are having a rough time holding onto their equipment. Carmen Benedetti lost his hat on that one.
It's windy. That was fair.
It actually was foul. The ball was foul.
Well, the ball was foul.
The hat landed in fair territory.
Newtoff already had 0-2 on Waters. Sends a pickoff attempt to catch Dowk.
2 for 2 in stolen base attempts on the year.
In Northwestern numbers, that's pretty high. Newtoff with the pitch. Pitch out attempt. Almost got away from Newtoff and Patrick.
Newtoff just kind of smiling that one off. I'm not sure if Patrick was as mute.
Well, it's his stats on line if it goes by him. But Dowk.
That would have been a wild pitch.
Dowk went right back to first during the pitch. He doesn't seem to be aiming to steal here with 2 outs. Newtoff working from the stretch. As Waters awaits the 1-2 pitch. Newtoff delivers. And Waters swung and missed on a high floater. Almost looked like another pitch out. But nonetheless, Newtoff strikes out the side, gets 3 strikeouts to give himself 3 on the game. And Michigan heads to the bottom of the 3rd, trailing 4-1 to Northwestern, but a much better performance from Ryan Newtoff there.
Yeah, that's what we expected. Using a lot more pitches. He used 25 in the first 2 innings, but 21 there. But I'm sure Coach Backridge will take that if you can shut down Northwestern. Really don't allow any hard contact at all. There was that. The only exception was really that one little bloop that ended up just getting just foul. But other than that, a very solid bounce back inning by Newtoff, and I think he's earned himself a few more as of right now. He's still only standing at 46 pitches, 46 after 3 innings, so he's got a little bit more left in the tank, I think, for this Wolverines squad.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many pitchers can
48 pitches.
Can give up 4 runs in 2 innings and only be at 25 pitches. But I guess, as you mentioned, Backridge is going to take a shutout inning with 21 pitches over efficient earned runs. For Michigan, it's going to be Bivens, Glines, Benedetti.
Well, I can tell you a pitcher that can do that, and that's Tommy Bourdignon for the Northwestern Wildcats. He did that last night when he came in after the first rain delay in that 6th inning. Only 13 pitches, but gave up 4 earned runs. The Wolverines were just teeing off. I remember Eli and I were remarking that it was one of the quickest, just how fast it was going. They were just swinging at every first pitch and ended up putting up 6 runs in about the 6th inning. That was the longest half inning I've ever been a part of. There was 2 rain delays part of that half inning. But
yeah, the 6th inning extended. It was, if I remember correctly, 2 hours and 23 minutes. So
just about half of the total game time.
Yeah, absolutely. Longer than Michigan softball's 16-1 drubbing of Penn State yesterday. Probably longer than Michigan's battle against Northwestern today. lot of Michigan Northwestern action going on. All can be viewed on Big Ten Network, but all can be listened to WCBN Sports if you tune into our YouTube channels. Right now you're on YouTube 1. You can listen to YouTube 1 as well.
1.
Yep, as we expect this game to
Conclude by 3:30.
Be wrapped up. It's wishful thinking there, Mr. Hausman.
I don't think it's too unreasonable.
With this team, you never know. Bivens steps up to the plate.
It wasn't the team's fault with the rain delay.
Watches 2 pitches, counts even at 1-1.
That's a Big Ten rule that you have to play all 9 innings.
Portland with the pitch. Low and away, 2-1 count. I don't know. Last week, we had one that was 3 hours, 47 minutes, 4 hours and 4 minutes. And then we had one that was 2 hours and 51 minutes. So you never really know here. Bivens grounds it foul. 2-2
See, there's
count.
a little bit of a misplay there.
Are you analyzing the first base coach?
You were analyzing Northwestern's
It was
coach.
a lazy effort. I wasn't gonna read too much into it. I don't think the misplays. I mean, they don't have gloves. Bivens with the 2-2 pitch. He lines it up the middle. It's gonna sneak through for Michigan's second base hit. He's on early. It's Lines steps up to the plate with his new walk-up song. Interesting decision as he's had a lot of success at home, but obviously with the 359 batting average, who am I to tell him what walk-up song to enter the batter's box to?
Yeah, trying to bounce back. I think he wants to chase that Big Ten batting title.
Carmen Benedetti, I believe, is the current leader at 369.
Yeah, it changes a lot day to day, and hard to get our hands on updated stats. Benedetti was tied for the lead coming into this weekend at 366, but those hits yesterday got him up a little bit.
Lines is dropped to 357. He watches ball 1. Portland, despite the numbers, seems to be doing pretty well out on the mound for Northwestern today. Only giving up 2 hits and 1 run in 2 innings of work. We'll see how Michigan does their second time around. The junior left-hander. 1-1 count for Glines.
Yeah, Portland, not someone that's going to blow you away with his speed, with his power. So with it as a control pitcher, a little better to have a chance to see him one time through and come back and piece a few hits together here the second time or third time through the order.
Glines, the 1-1 count. Bivens making a little bit of noise on the base paths. Glines fouls it. The first base line, as Michigan's first base coach will run to get it.
Is that Jeremy Couch down there? Can't really tell.
Probably.
Special assistant on the squad.
He assisted in getting that foul ball, so certainly doing his job.
It also always confuses me that head coach Eric Bakich and assistant coach Nick Schnabel wear the same number. Why both wear 23? At this point, you can tell by their demeanor, but very, very confusing feature.
Portland with a couple pickoff attempts, looking to nab Bivens, who is 7 for 9 in stolen bases. One of many Michigan hitters with it's always a threat to steal a bag. And Glines has a check swing, ground ball, and it's fielded right by first base by Zach Jones for out number 1. But Bivens advances to second, puts himself in scoring position for your Big Ten leader in doubles and RBIs, Carmen Benedetti.
Benedetti will get ready to dig into that left-handed batter's box. For his first hit of the day. Bivens dancing around at second base.
Lots of strike 1. Benedetti did get an RBI last time. Grounded out to the pitcher. He watches the first pitch. 0-1 count. Portland delivers. Bivens stealing on the pitch, and it gets away from Scott Heelan. And so Bivens is going to be there standing, and now just 90 feet away from Michigan's second run.
Yeah, that's something where you realize how much Matt Portland has been throwing his breaking ball. You know you have a chance to move up and perhaps get a little lucky with that one. And it would have been a close play. You got a really good jump there, but with that one in the dirt, got away from Scott Heelan and absolutely no chance. Now runner at third with less than 2 outs. Back out opportunity for the Wolverines to try and get one back here.
2-1 count on Benedetti now. Portland from the windup delivers. Benedetti laces it left field, and it is caught. That'll be Hochheit on the catch, but Bivens able to tag up and score. Benedetti gets another RBI. 59 on the season now. And Michigan only down 4-2.
And a very hard-hit ball, but that's the benefit of playing so deep here in the outfield for the Wildcats, as Hochheit just had to run horizontally over to that ball as he was already very deep, only about 20 feet in front of the wall. And instead of having to track back and try and run to his right, he was able to just run directly to his right in a straight line, record the out, but with his momentum carrying him towards the line, really had absolutely no chance to get the speedy Bivens, and he was about 20 feet away from the wall, so 290-foot throw would have been very improbable.
Certainly with the momentum that Hochheit had. 4-2 ball game. That brings up Cody Bruder.
Cody Bruder with a little bit of hockey action there. He sees the ball skip out of the glove of Scott Heelan and just tries to golf it back to Matt Portland, but Heelan not amused and will go out and retrieve it himself. I was amused.
Bruder, big swing and a miss. Brings the count to 1-2.
Already struck out once this game in the first inning.
2 away, nobody on. Michigan tacked on 1 run, looking for more.
Need base runners first.
Certainly helps. Portland with the 1-2 pitch. And Bruder lines it foul on the first base side.
Not going to say anything.
It's not near my car. Do you know what kind of car I drive?
I don't.
See, so you wouldn't even know if it hit my car. Portland with the 1-2 pitch. Bruder lines it less foul as it heads toward the Northwestern bullpen.
That was a rip, just a little late on the fastball. And that one goes foul into the Wildcats bullpen, as Zach mentioned. But perhaps you don't need base runners if Cody Bruder has anything to say about it, trying to lost or not. It's been 2 hard-hit balls in a row, both foul.
1-2 pitch.
It's a little too close
Going
to
outside. Portland thought he had a strikeout. He was walking off the mound.
That's one where it's too close to take. You got to swing and live to see another day. Foul that one off. But fortunate, it's a call from Herbert Doan Jr., the home plate umpire.
Bruder living life on the edge. A 2-2 pitch, and he grounds it. Bounces off Portland's glove, and he is going to make it there. Stevens tried to field it, but wasn't in time. It's Bruder able to hustle it out in what initially looked like a ground out to the pitcher.
That looked like if Stevens had made that play, that would have been a web gem for sure. Off the glove of Portland, deflects. Stevens has to change direction, almost gets it there, but Bruder able to beat the throw by about 2 steps.
That brings up Travis Mazes, who struck out looking, thought he had ball 4 last time up, looking for some redemption. 2 away, Bruder on first. Portland really likes the pickoff play. Or at least likes to keep runners in check as much as he can. Left-hander throws it over to first.
Bruder does have some speed. He's picked his spots well this year. 4 for 4 on stolen base attempts, and pretty decent base runner. Can get first to third.
And they're ruling that ground ball a hit. Bounced off of Portland's glove. Bruder hustled it out. Portland with the pitch. And Mazes fouls it right behind him to the backstop.
Northwestern outfield continues to play very deep all around. We've seen that same look all weekend. Piker, the second baseman, standing several steps onto the outfield grass.
Portland with the 1-1 delivery. Mazes grounds it up the middle. Piker dove to stop it, but Mays is going to reach with the second straight hit for the Wolverines.
Even if Pikart had fielded that one cleanly, he still wouldn't have really had a shot at the speedy Mazes. He was very deep, as I mentioned just before that pitch. And even if he had dove for that one and got his glove completely on it, it would have been very difficult to pop up and make an accurate throw over to first base. So 2 infield singles for the Wolverines, and they got a 2-out rally going here for Kendall Patrick.
And they have certainly showcased the propensity at 2-out RBIs. 5 of their 6 runs against Central Michigan came with 2 outs. They had a few last night. Of course, they had runs in all situations, scoring 12 on the Wildcats. And Bivens, smart play there, and he's safe with a steal. And he caught Portland, I guess, in a daze, daydreaming, as Portland was just on the mound in the set position. And excuse me, that was Bruder. Bruder took off, and now there are runners on the corners. Smart play by Bruder, picking up his 5th steal in 5 tries. Kendall Patrick struck out, but did reach base last time up. We'll never know if that was intentional or not, but swung at a ball that was making its way past Scott Heelan.
Bruder looks a little bit shaken up down that third base, getting checked on by Schnabel, the third base coach, but looks like he's okay. Make the 90 feet home if there's a hit here.
Portland with the 1-0 pitch. Patrick laces it foul. Nearly hits a car. Not mine. Don't worry. One count.
Big situation here for the Wolverines. They'd love to get one back here, draw within 1 as we move to the 4th inning. Perhaps even more than that.
Portland from the stretch fires it over to first. See if he can catch Mazes snoozing.
Well, see, another favorite play of the Wolverines is when they have runners at the corners with 2 outs, if they have a speedy runner on first, they'll try and send that runner at first down to second to try and get 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
Patrick fouls it away over the first base side of the stands.
Kevin White standing on deck.
1-2 count on Patrick. 2 away. Patrick sends it foul. The joke is dead, but that one actually was pretty close to my car.
Yeah, made me scared.
It's about 3 feet away.
And these car updates brought to you by the Daily Sports Report on WCBN FM Ann Arbor. You can tune in Monday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30 p.m. Listen to all your updates on Michigan sports and occasionally national news as well.
The 1-2 pitch, and Mazes tried a delayed steal, and Bruder's going to score, and Mazes is going to make it back to first, so it worked to perfection. Looked like he caught himself into a pickle. Northwestern unable to handle the ball or unable to handle the play. Bruder comes around to score. Patrick's going to get the RBI, and Mazes remains at first.
I gotta say, I think that was on purpose. At first, I thought it was a Travis Mazes base running blunder, but looking at the replay now, when I see how hard Bruder hustled home, I really think they were trying to draw the throw from catcher Scott Heelan down to second base and get Mazes in that pickle. And if you can score that run before the 3rd out, that run counts. And I think what they're trying to do, they were willing to give up Mazes too, as long as Bruder scored first, but the added bonus is Mazes is back in at first base, and there's still a runner on for Kendall Patrick.
And with 2 outs, Northwestern was really just trying to get themselves out of the inning, but they don't do so, and their lead has been cut in half. They now lead just 4-3. Patrick still at the plate, looking at a 2-2 count with 2 outs, and Mays is on first. And Patrick swings and misses.
Heelan
second
should have applied
strikeout.
the tag on that one.
Yeah, Scott Heelan didn't love the drop third strike of the previous inning. But nonetheless, we've played 3 here at Ray Fisher Stadium. And Northwestern on top 4-3, but Michigan able to tack on 2 more in the bottom of the third. Ryan Newtoff will come out for his 4th inning of work. And you are listening to WCBN broadcast of Michigan baseball. WCBN Sports 88.3 on your dial. You are listening, of course, to our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe, comment, give us feedback, as we are students here at Michigan. We're also students of the broadcasting game. So feel free to let us know. And feel free to listen to softball later on today. They're going to be taking on Northwestern in the Big Ten tournament semifinals. I'm Zach Shaw, joining me in the booth. And switching over to play-by-play will be Andrew Hausman. But before you do so, Andrew, 3 innings of work. Seen a lot of, I guess, bloop hits, base running blunders, errors. Maybe not technical errors, but just little miscues here and there. Do you think Michigan might be playing down to Northwestern's level a little bit?
I don't think so. I think Ryan Newtoff came out and just gave the Northwestern hitters a little too much to hit. He came out, tried to attack the strike zone, but they were ready. They weren't going to take those pitches, and they just came out aggressively swinging, and they got a little bit of luck, just seeing eye base hits and finding some holes. Not a lot of hard contact, but able to pick up 4 runs with smart base running, and there's a few lucky bounces. But what I expect to see more of is Ryan Newtoff from last inning, where he used a few more pitches, was a little more delicate, had better control, and was able, although he did basically double his pitch count, he was able to strike out the side. So you don't need to go to that extreme. You'd always like to get a few easy outs, a few ground outs like we saw early in the first inning before the Northwestern Wildcats mounted a charge and got that first run. But you like to see a few ground ball outs or even easy fly outs out into the outfield. But I think we'll see more of Ryan Newtoff in a conference on the mound here. Interesting. What do you think this is all about, Zach?
I don't know. A couple Michigan players. It's like
infield.
3 are coming back from the clubhouse, so they may be warming people up. But my guess is they're just trying to let Newtoff know, keep doing what you're doing. 5 players apparently made it to the clubhouse during that inning break, but let Newtoff know to keep doing what he's doing. Let the defense work, but continue to pitch with that same stuff that allowed you to strike out the side in that last inning.
First up is Cody Stevens, and he will follow that one out of play. They're over the press box. 0-1. Stevens 1 for 1 in the day. Also came around to score. That was in the 2nd inning. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Breaking ball misses inside. Evens the count at 1-1. Stevens ducking out of the way of that one. Mazes standing right on the edge of the infield grass at third base, watching for potential bunt. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses low and away. 2-1.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Here's the 2-1 delivery.
It's interesting to see that Newtoff is almost having more success as he struggles with his control more. Obviously, he needs to come back and not give Stevens a free pass here. But in that last inning, he threw more balls, but had more success at the mound.
3-1 pitch. That one's lined to right center field. Slater coming over, and he will make the catch. Slater was a little confused on that one. He started breaking to his right and then realized that one was not going as far as he thought. Was able to come in and make the catch in shallow right center field. Hard hit ball, but this time the Wolverines get a little bit of luck as it's hit pretty close to their fielder. And a nice play by Johnny Slater is the first out of the top of the 4th inning. Wildcats lead 4-3 in the top of the 4th. Wolverines lead the series 1-0 by virtue of their 12-4 victory last night. Grant Peekert, the second baseman today, steps in. He had a sacrifice ground out his first time up. 0-1 delivery. Low and away. Count even at 1-1. Outfield straight up average depth. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball strike on the outside corner.
Seems a little irrelevant now, but there is a breeze coming in that's going to prevent some of the power surge that we saw last night.
1-2 pitch. Fastball just misses inside corner. 2-2, and now Piekert will step out and going to have a conference with his third base coach. Yeah, strong breeze coming in now. Flag out there in left center field. Really whipping pretty strongly. Not as strong as we saw the winds during those rain delays. A pretty big thunderstorm, but
you can't see wind.
we saw the flags. That good catch.
Just messing with you.
Piekert will dig back in, waiting for the 2-2 pitch. Here it comes from Newdoff. That misses low and away. Fastball does not hit the zone, and the count runs full.
Second 3-ball count for Newtoff. Could be a formula for success, but not usually a good one.
Payoff pitch. That one's lifted in the air. Doesn't even get out of the, or does get out of the infield just a little bit. Cronenworth will drift over and make the catch about 20 feet away from the first base line. Called off first baseman Carmen Benedetti. That's the second out of the top of the fourth. And as you mentioned, 2 3-ball counts for Ryan Newdoff, but he'll take what he can get if he gets these lame pop-outs. Now the third baseman Connor Lind will step in. That one pops out of the glove of Kendall Patrick, and that'll be a first pitch ball. Perhaps could have been a strike if he had held on to that one, but
yeah, Patrick struggled last weekend with his stopping and overall catching defensive abilities, but picked him up in the past couple of games.
1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Big cut there by the freshman third baseman. Came with nothing but air. Newdoff delivers 1-1. That one's fouled off over the seats in right field. One and 2 on Connor Lind. And he crossed on that one. That one hit him. It looked like he didn't really make much effort to try and get out of the way of that one, but unless that one hit him, and he'll trot down to first base, run around with 2 outs.
He really looked like he leaned in there. I thought it might have hit his back because it almost looked like it was like just a part of his check swing, and it certainly did hit him. I won't argue that, but surprised that he wasn't told to stay in the batter's box, as you are supposed to make at least some effort to get out of the way of the pitch, or at least not lean into it.
And first pitch to Scott Heelan is a strike. Lind takes his lead off first base. Benedetti holding with him there. Delivery to Heelan. That one's fouled off over the first base seats. Quickly 0-2. On the veteran catcher for the Wildcats. 1 for 2 on the day. Singled in the first, came around to score. Also grounded out in the second. That one got a run in. And so a good productive day from Scott Heelan so far. 0-2 pitch. That one's lifted in the air to right field. Slater tracking it. He'll drift to his left, make the catch. And that's the third out of the inning. So the Wildcats get a hit by pitch, but no more. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Wolverines trail 4-3 against the Wildcats Northwestern. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Yeah, another good inning, albeit inefficient from a pitch count perspective for Newtoff. Another 20-pitch spectacular, or 18-pitch inning. But I kind of like this Newtoff. He's working around these hitters a little bit more. It's not just firing it in there and forcing contact, which is kind of go back and forth, I guess, depending on your stuff. But overall, if you give up a lot of contact, you are going to give up little bloop singles, as we saw in those first couple innings where it just sneaks by fielders here and there. And I think with the wind and just maybe with the defensive alignment today, I think Backett had to have told Newtoff something along the lines of, do your stuff, make sure you're getting outs when you can. Don't avoid contact, but certainly embrace the strikeouts, work the count, work the pitches, work that strike zone, and make sure that these hitters are guessing and not just swinging at the first couple pitches every time. I think so far in these past couple innings, it's worked. This is not a real hard-hitting Northwestern team. They have a couple of hitters who can get the job done at the top, as you mentioned, but really 3rd through 9, not much to lose sleep over. No real threats in the batter's box. So if you can bring your A game or even your B game, I think you can appreciate your formula for success. Northwestern, as we mentioned, not a lot to love about that bullpen. A lot of walks yesterday. Really got ugly at points in that 6th inning when Michigan batted around after the rain delay. So if you can just keep your team in position to win, which they are right now, all they need is a couple more to regain the lead. If you can keep your team in position to win,
They're in position to win right now. They're trailing.
you're in position to win, though, if you're only down by 1 with 6 innings to go. If you keep the team in the game, I think Michigan wins the battle of the bullpen. Houseman, I don't know if your mic picked it up, but you were saying that they're down by 1.
Still a potent offense for the Wolverines. Due up the 8-9 one-hitters. White, Slater, Cronenworth. White 0 for 1 on the day. We saw Kevin White 1.0 in that last plate appearance. And we have a delay here. Unsure what the delay is. I believe it is a TV timeout, and this is the really the downside of broadcasting games on TV. We have the National Big Ten Network crew, but they only occasionally make it to games. WCBN Sports coverage has every single Michigan baseball home game, so thank you for tuning in with us. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. We don't pick our spots. We're here every day, rain or shine. We'll have the series finale tomorrow. That'll be Eli Sherman on the call. First pitch, a strike to Kevin White. Good breaking ball there by Matt Portland. The lefty shrugs his shoulders, delivers 0-1. That one's lifted high in the air to right field. Mitchell is underneath it, and he will make the catch. Kevin White gives that one a ride, but just got a little bit too much underneath that one. And that's the first out of the bottom of the 4th here for Wolverines.
Was that 1.0?
That was 1.0.
I think it can just be Kevin White, and that was just an out, and sometimes he won't record an out.
But it's not always even when he records it out, sometimes he looks good doing it, has a productive plate appearance where he fouls off a lot of pitches and just doesn't go his way, or he has like hard contact right at a defensive player. But when he swings for the fences every time and strikes out a lot, that's Kevin White 1.0.
Johnny Slater with a big opportunity to get himself on base with Cronenworth and the rest of Michigan's daunted top of the order on deck. If he can get himself on base, maybe, and put himself in position to steal a bag or two, be really good for the Wolverines.
Next pitch gets in there for a strike, 2-1. And he fouls the next pitch right into the screen, 2-2. Slater waiting for the 2-2 pitch. Portland hesitates. Now comes home. That one's a line drive, and that will get down in right center field. Mitchell dove for it. Slater digging for 2, and he will get in standing up. A line drive double. And Slater standing on second base with 1 out as the top of the lineup comes up for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Slater tends to pull the ball. That one a little bit closer to center field. Nice job by him getting some good contact on the ball. I don't think that was necessarily his pitch. It wasn't exactly where he likes to see them, which is really low and inside. He likes to take those for a ride. Able to get himself on second base, and now Michigan once again threatening, knocking on the door, trying to tie this game up and maybe even take a lead with the top of the order up to the bat.
Cardiff will dig in 0 for 1 on the day. Also walked in the first inning and came around to score. Knocked in by Benedetti. First pitch, strike. Fastball splits the heart of the plate. Unsure what Cronenworth was looking for there. That was a pitch to drive. Bivens on deck, lines in the hole. 1 out here. Wolverines trail 4-3 in the bottom of the 4th, but they have a rally brewing. Slater with a 1 out double. He's sitting at second base right now. Portland checks him there. Now comes home. 0-1 pitch. That one misses low. The breaking ball unable to hit the target. Count evens at 1-1. Wildcats sound like a broken record here, continuing to play very deep all around. Slater takes his lead off second base. Lefty Portland against the lefty Cronenworth. Here comes the 1-1. Strike on the outside corner. 1-2 on Jacob Cronenworth. Even if he is unable to score the speedy Slater with a hard hit ball to the outfield, you at least expect him to try and move the runner up. Portland takes a look in. Now checks the runner. Delivers home. 1-2 pitch. That one is a line drive base hit into left field. Slater rounding third. He will score. Cronenworth digging for second. Throw comes into second. He slides in with a double. And there's an RBI double. Ties the game. Jacob Cronenworth evens it at 4. Still one out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, second consecutive double, and Michigan leads the Big Ten in doubles. Their offense teetered off a little bit in the past week, but they can always count on those extra bases. And talking to Michigan coach Eric Bakich last night about it, he doesn't consider this a power hitting team. He considers it a line drive hitting team that can hit these line drives with such consistency that they're just able to get a lot of doubles whenever they fall into the gap. It certainly helps. He said that his team has a lot of speed. Cronenworth and Slater both showcasing it there.
Still threatening here, looking to take the lead. Cronenworth in scoring position with only one out. Jake Bivens at the plate. He's had a good day. 1 for 1 in the day. Also with a walk in that first inning. Now Scott Heelan will trot out to the mound and have a brief conference with his starting pitcher, Matt Portland. He's run into a little bit of trouble. He cruised through those first 2 innings, only giving up 1 run on 1 hit. But since then, he gave up 2 last inning, 1 here, and the Wolverines still threatening, looking to take the lead here. Portland working from the stretch with Cronenworth standing on second base. Breeze blowing in from left center field. Portland checks the runner, now delivers. Breaking ball in there for a strike. 3-0-2 here on the freshman shortstop for the Wolverines.
And I don't see any Northwestern pitchers warming up in the bullpen, but obviously Portland not doing too poorly, but he's given up 4 runs, maybe giving up more in this inning, and he's already at 86 pitches, so I'd almost be stunned if Northwestern kept him in much longer.
He'll now step off. Look, Cronenworth back to second base, and that's kind of a Wolverines habit to not retreat all the way back to second base, just try and get in the pitcher's head. Cronenworth now dancing around, and Portland will jump off again. And once again, Cronenworth doesn't go all the way back to second base, still trying to just mess with Portland a little bit.
Yeah, and Bruder got the delayed steal, or the early steal, I suppose, off second base, off the left-hander.
0-2 pitch, and there's a run and hit, but that one will be fouled off down the left field line.
Yeah, I almost wonder if Bivens could have just let that one go. I think Cronenworth actually had a pretty good jump. I think he could have been there safely. Obviously, if you got the hit and run on, you got the hit and run on, and you want to work with it. But nice job by Cronenworth playing some heads-up base running.
Still 0-2 on Jake Bivens. Cronenworth dancing off second base. Gets checked once, twice now. Portland will step off and try to look him back to second base, but Cronenworth once again refuses to retreat all the way back to the safe zone.
Bugs you, huh?
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Bivens will have to run down to first base, but Heelan will throw down to Jones and record the strikeout there. That one looked like another intentional swing and miss on one in the dirt, but that one didn't get away from Heelan. And I think Cronenworth was trying to judge what he should do there. He ended up staying put at second base. So that's the second out at the bottom of the 4th. The Wolverines have already tied the score here at 4. But still a runner in scoring position for Jackson Glines. And with Cronenworth's speed, you'd expect any sort of hit with 2 outs to score Cronenworth fairly easily. Cronenworth takes his lead off. Stevens trying to sneak back in behind him. Now he'll retreat. First pitch to Glines is a base hit in left field. Cronenworth rounding third. Here comes the throw to the plate. And it is offline. Cronenworth scores. Michigan takes the lead. Glines will throw a fishing hook into the dugout, reel it in, and draw his teammates out of the dugout as they welcome home Jacob Cronenworth with the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, Hochschild, if he had fielded that cleanly and made the transfer cleanly, I think he had a pretty good chance at getting Cronenworth. But he bobbled it on the transfer. He wasn't able to find it in his glove right away. And as you mentioned, the throw was a couple feet off line. And now, of course, Michigan taking the lead and starting to wake up a little bit, that offense. Maybe their wake-up time is around 1:30. as they came out to a slow start in the base hits, but able to come back now.
First pitch, and that is a base hit into center field. Glines rounding third. He's coming home. There'll be no throw. And Benedetti gets it down with an RBI single. Wolverines lead 6-4 here in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, Benedetti already with 3 RBIs today. Obviously, he's had a few of them this season. He's already at 60 now on the season, nearing that national lead in doubles and RBIs. Doesn't have any doubles today. He's 5 off the lead there, but RBIs continue to pile up, and he's just showcasing why he has been so valuable in this sophomore season, working in that cleanup position.
Lots of action here. Lots of first pitch swinging here. And the Wolverines still have a threat going. Benedetti standing on first base. The first pitch to Bruder is fouled off. Just misses the Wolverines dugout. 0-1 on the junior left fielder. Benedetti takes his lead off first base. Jones holding with him there. Pikert shaded a little bit into the hole. Now we'll get a throw over to first base. Drive Benedetti back there in there standing up. Wolverines have put up 3 runs this inning. Turned a 4-3 deficit into a 6-4 lead. We're in the bottom of the fourth. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
And I will.
0-1 pitch is lined into left field. And that one will get down for a base hit. Benedetti will trip over second base, but he will get back in time. And a 2-out single by Cody Bruder extends the rally. Wolverines runners at first and second, still hungry for more. Looking to add to that 6-4 lead.
I will mention that Benedetti is now tied for second in the country in runs batted in. With 3 today, he's up to 60. The current leader is Ryan Howell out of Nevada, who has 62. And I guess more importantly, just looking at some of the guys at the top here, you see a lot of smaller schools, Morehead State, Jacksonville State, North Florida. But Carmen Benedetti is doing it from Michigan in a relatively tough conference this year. They've got a few teams ranked in the Big Ten. So really, Sherman mentioned All-American. I kind of laughed it off, but it's starting to be a little bit more of a reality.
Little number by Mazes, and that one is misplayed by Lind. Everyone will be safe. Lots of action here. Lots of first pitch swinging early in at bats, and the Wolverines are doing some damage. These last 2 just kind of found holes. Bruder had that single to left field, just fell in between the shortstop, left fielder, and center fielder. And that one, the pitcher Portland unable to get to it, and then Lind just completely bobbled it. Benedetti almost overslid third base, much like we saw Eric Jacobson do last night. But Benedetti learning from his teammates' mistakes. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs here. Big situation for Kendall Patrick to really break this game wide open here in the bottom of the fourth. Very surprising, Matt Portland is still on the mound. He'll step off now. They're getting someone warmed up. They have 2 pitchers warming up.
It's like
but they're just barely getting loosened up.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake on Northwestern's part. You could tell kind of at the beginning of the inning that Portland was unable to get the job done like he was the previous 2 times through the order, and his pitch count was getting up there. Very surprising to just see them just now warming up.
And Kendall Patrick almost takes out his teammate Carmen Benedetti with a foul ball. Benedetti coming down the line at third base, moving on contact, and that one just got over his batting helmet. He has a long stare in. Only kidding, of course. 0-1 on Kendall Patrick. High leverage situation here. The lefty delivers. Breaking ball in for a strike quickly. 0-2 on Kendall Patrick. Has not had the best day so far. 0 for 2. Both strikeouts. He did reach base on that first strikeout. And the swinging strike in the dirt that got away from Scott Heelan, he was able to advance to first base. Ended up being stranded there in the second. Portland taking a long look in, and now we'll get time called by Kendall Patrick. He didn't like how long Portland was making him wait. Ducks on the pond here for the Wolverines. Benedetti at third, Bruder at second, Mazes at first. Good speed on the base pass. 0-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Nice defensive swing there by Kendall Patrick. Lives to see another pitch. But the outfield, as deep as they are, you'd expect that any sort of base hit would pretty easily score 2, especially with Bruder's average to above average speed. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout there by Matt Portland, which could be his last batter of the game. But the Wolverines get a big inning. They tack on 3 and now lead 6-4. We head to the top of the 5th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Zach Shaw.
That was a big out for Northwestern and a big missed opportunity for Kendall Patrick. Kendall Patrick, obviously, you can't complain too much if you score 3 runs in an inning, start tacking on the hits. They're already at 10 hits. Don't blink on this Michigan offense. They'll get on you in a hurry. But if you have the bases loaded and you're cruising the way you are, and Northwestern didn't get a chance to warm up their pitchers as much as they probably would have liked, and you have a chance to break it open and you're Kendall Patrick, you got to put the ball in play. And I know it's easier said than done. And Portland was shutting down Michigan for much of the game for a reason. He does have good stuff, but big missed opportunity for the catcher. And he's certainly taking his time putting on his equipment now.
Indeed, he is a little bummed out with himself. And as we mentioned, he's only got 1 hit in each of the Wolverines' last 2 games. So those have both been big hits. Both 2 RBI hits in the first inning of that Wednesday game against Central Michigan, and then the 2-run home run last night in the opener of this series. But he is coming back and will station himself behind home plate as Ryan Newdoff returns to the mound for a 5th inning of work. And after 2 rough innings, 4 in the first 2, he's bounced back. Zach, what can he do to continue his success?
I think it's finding the right balance between trying to, pick your pitches, pick your spots, and just pitching free and easy. I think we've seen good and bad from both ends of the spectrum so far today. And obviously he's had a little bit more success when he's throwing balls, but he just had a very, very long break. That was a long half inning for the Wolverines in a good way, obviously, for Newtoff. So he has a little bit of cushion now, but he needs to make sure that he's throwing loose. He's not trying to do too much on the mound because his pitch count's starting to get up there. He's starting to get a little bit tired. And most importantly, he needs to make sure he's working himself back into the game after considerable time on the bench.
And pitch count standing at 66, so we could see about 1 to 2 more innings, maybe even 3 if he works quickly. Newdoff wouldn't expect much more than that. First pitch to Zach Jones is a little low. Working quickly. Here's the 1-0 delivery. That one's a ground ball to Cronenworth. He will scoop it up on a couple of skips, flip over to Carmetti at first. And there's out number 1 here in the top of the 5th inning.
Defense has looked a little shaky the past couple weeks. So far, they're bringing it today. Obviously, they had some bad luck with some very well-placed loop singles and ground balls. But for the most part, things looking good. Mays' his throws have been on point. Bivens able to stop the ball now.
Jack Mitchell lifts one high in the air, way foul and out of play on the left field line. Crack of the bat made it sound like it had a chance to do some damage, but just way ahead of that one and lifted it end up way too high. It wouldn't have gone out there. It would have just been a very deep fly ball out to left field if it had stayed fair. 0-1 delivery. That one misses up.
Yeah, that foul ball was so high. They had the landing sound effect before the ball actually landed, which is something you don't see very often, as they're usually pretty quick with that effect. Pretty late with the effect.
1-1 delivery. Fastball misses up. 2 fastballs have missed high. 2-1 here on Jack Mitchell, the right fielder today. Brady Mitchell against the righty Newdoff. Here's the 2-1 pitch. This is well outside. Newdoff not pleased with himself with that one. Came back with a breaking ball after missing with 2 fastballs. Count goes to 3-1.
Newtoff taking his time in these pitches now as opposed to going quickly before.
3-1 pitch misses outside. Newdoff not pleased with that call. Mitchell will scamper on down to first base, and he's there with 1 out for Hoshite. Hoshite 1 for 2 in the day. He singled and knocked in a run in the first inning, then struck out looking his last time up when Newdoff struck out the side in that 3rd inning to really bounce back from those rough first 2 innings. Wolverines will send a pitcher to go get warmed up. That's Mac Lozier. Cam Wysocki also heading down to the bullpen. Interesting if he would pitch today, as he did pitch 3 innings yesterday.
He may just be the hitting stand-in or the bullpen assistant. My guess is, anyway, Wysocki and Loser are both the top 2 guys, but my guess is Loser's going in today.
1-0 pitch misses up. And that's 6 balls in a row by Ryan Newdoff. Jacob Cronus will come in, have a word with him, try and settle him down a little bit.
Yeah, Sean Kenny's going to join in and probably going to take his time, stall, just in case Newdoff can't bring it back together. Make sure Lozier has a chance to warm up and get himself ready, because it's just like Northwestern. You don't want to get stuck in a position where all of a sudden the other team is rallying and they're getting hit seemingly at will, and you just don't have anyone ready in the bullpen. You want to make sure you're ready. So I think Michigan, I think they're on top of things as it appears so far. And Newtoff may well get his way out of this, but Michigan really needs this win a lot more than Northwestern does, as they're still trying to fight probably out of contention for an at-large bid. They do have a big opportunity to advance in those ranks against Oklahoma State next weekend, but also want to improve their Big Ten record and their seeding and make sure that they can have a home game as one of the top 4 seeds in the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis.
Yeah, home game looking a little unlikely, but you at least want to try and avoid the 7 or 8 seeds. And now Hoshite will lift that one in the air to the left side of the infield. Bivens underneath it. He will make the catch.
They're 5th in the Big Ten, and they're 1 game away from 4th. Those are old standings. State lost.
My mistake.
Maryland's got to face off against Ohio State next week, so it'll be pretty likely that if Michigan
they're still sitting in 6th place.
No, they're more or less tied with Michigan State at this point. They do own the tiebreaker over Maryland, so if they can win out in this series, they have a good chance at that 4 seed.
First pitch to Luke Doubt. This is outside, 1-0. Mitchell standing at first base with 2 outs here. And Eddie holding with him there. Mays is watching for a potential bunt. 1 step behind the infield grass over at third base. Doubt waiting for the, and takes that one inside. A throw behind the runner. Mitchell able to slide back in, standing up, or excuse me, head first. Two and 0 here on Doubt. Swing and a miss. Big cut. That breaking ball fell right off the table. Nice pitch there by Ryan Newdoff. 2 outs here. Wolverines trying to respond with a shutout inning after they tied up the game and took the lead in the bottom of the 4th. 2-1 pitch. That one is laced to left field. Going back. And that one is foul ball. Just foul. That one could have done some damage. Mitchell, with 2 outs running on contact, would have likely scored. Just about 2 feet foul. That one hit about 3 feet up the wall, but also about 3 feet foul.
Yeah, Bruder.
And just a long strike for Doubt.
Way out of position there, which, I mean, you can't hardly blame him because Doubt is a left-handed hitter. You don't expect him to launch anything into the left field corner. But that certainly would have been trouble for the Wolverines and a lot of extra bases for Doubt.
Just a long strike. Count at 2-2. Now he'll foul it off again. Right into the mesh netting in front of the Northwestern dugout. Fraying his teammates a little bit, but no worse for wear. Count remains 2-2. Mitchell takes his lead off first base. He's there with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Wolverines lead 6-4. Newdoff checks the runner. Now comes home. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses high and outside. Count runs full. That will loosen up Mitchell over at first base. Three-two. Newdoff will check the runner, now looking for the sign. Payoff pitch. Swing. Big strikeout there by Ryan Newdoff. He responds with a shutdown inning, his 3rd in a row. The Wolverines will bat in the bottom of the 5th. They lead 6-4. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Zach Shaw.
Yeah, Newtoff with a great recovery there to close out that inning, and probably earn himself another inning. Pitch count only at 76. And really, that's what Michigan needs right now. They have a bullpen. They have the assets to lock down this game if they need to, but you just really don't know what's going to happen on any given day, especially against a team like Northwestern that can they can get you in a shootout, they can get you in a pitcher's duel. You just don't know what bullpen arms you're going to need and when. And I think if you're Michigan coach Eric Bakich, if you can get Newtoff to really maximize what he can do today, get a lot of innings in, and then you can start using those bullpen arms to keep them fresh against Eastern in a less consequential game, and then you have a full house ready to go against Oklahoma State, as that is probably going to be a huge series for the Wolverines, probably the biggest non-conference series they have, as they can really boost their RPI against the Cowboys, who are, I believe, currently 12th in the country from an RPI perspective. So big opportunity to host a big team and walk away with some big wins if they can do it.
And going back to our Big Ten discussion, I was mistaken. They are 6th in losses in the Big Ten, but standing 5th by winning percentage. So they've played a lot more games. This is their final regular season series. Each Big Ten team plays 24 games. So the Wolverines a little bit out ahead, as there are 13 teams in the Big Ten. So someone's got to be the team not to play that last series. That's the Wolverines for the second year in a row. They'll have a non-conference opponent come in on the last weekend of regular scheduled Big Ten play. So Wolverines currently sitting at 13-9. They're ahead of the Michigan State Spartans on winning percentage, who are 11-8. And as Zach mentioned, if they can win out here, get up to 15-9, they have a good chance to nudge out Maryland for that number 4 spot.
Yeah, Maryland and Ohio State play each other. So theoretically, I think if Maryland and Ohio State play each other, if they can sweep here, Maryland and Ohio State are currently playing each other. So very likely that they could sneak into that 4 seed if they win out in this series.
Ground ball off the bat of Kevin White. That's scooped out by Cody Stevens. Fires over to first base. And they get Kevin White by a step and a half for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. Johnny Slater will dig in. He's had a good day. 2 for 2 on the day. Single in the 2nd, double in the 4th. Perhaps he can keep the pattern going here in the 5th. This came around to score last inning. Very hard hit ball to right center field. That really got the rally going for the Wolverines. It was knocked in by Cronenworth, and the Wolverines kept tacking on runs. They scored 3 last inning to turn a 4-3 deficit into a 6-4 lead. They're hungry for more here. Slater takes the first pitch for a strike. Joe Schindler, the new pitcher for the Wildcats, delivers. Foul straight back in the screen right towards us.
Were you ready?
I was ready. Always ready.
Good.
Joe Schindler, 2-5 on the year, 53 innings pitched, 62 hits, 40 runs, 37 of those earned, 36 strikeouts against 15 walks. He gets a swing and a miss. That one's in the dirt. He then will throw down to first base to complete the strikeout. So Schindler gets his first strikeout of the day and 37th strikeout of the year. And what's very notable about Schindler is the sheer amount of extra base hits he's given up. He's given up 62 hits on the year, and 24 of them been extra base hits, including 7 home runs. So he's had a rough time limiting power, and the Wolverines sure would like to take advantage of that. Of course, 2 easy outs so far here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, quite a lengthy list of extra base hits for Schindler.
15 doubles, 2 triples, and 7 home runs. Cronenworth already with a extra base hit last inning. That was the double that knocked in Johnny Slater. Then Cronenworth came out to score as well. Cronenworth 1 for 2 on the day, has scored 2 runs. He came out to score after walking to lead off the game in the first inning. 1-0 misses outside, 2-0 on Cronenworth. Good hitters count here for the veteran second baseman. Brady Schindler against the lefty Cronenworth. Next pitch misses low and outside, 3-0. Lynn playing only a few steps off the line at third base. Cronenworth will dig back in, waiting for the 3-0 pitch. Taking all the way. That's a strike. High in the outside corner, but able to get in there. 3-1. Here's the delivery. 3-1, lifted in the air to center field. Waters tracking it. He will drift to his right and make the catch. And a quieting for the Wolverines. They go 1, 2, 3. We head to the top of the 6th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Zach Shaw here at Ray Fisher Stadium. A beautiful day for baseball. Clouds are starting to move in, but hopefully they'll be able to get this game in for any potential rain delay.
Yeah, so far it's been a beautiful day. It's been a relatively quick game. It's not going on at the sluggish pace that maybe some of the past games that we've seen have gone at. Certainly on pace for more than 3 hours, but I like to think that they can beat the storm if they keep going at this pace. Knock on wood, of course. But we talked about the Big Ten standings, and I've talked a couple times throughout the game about the strength of the Big Ten, and I just kind of want to bring that to light. I've looked up the RPI rankings of the top 8 Big Ten teams, and that's, of course, Illinois, Ohio State. Michigan is in there, Iowa, Nebraska, Michigan State, Indiana, and Maryland. And that's really a pretty strong 8 teams to represent the Big Ten at the Big Ten tournament. Probably one of the strongest Big Ten tournaments we've seen in years. Currently, 4 teams can say they're comfortably in the tournament picture, and that's Illinois, Ohio State, Iowa, and Nebraska at 11, 21, 25, and 27 in the RPI. Then you've got 3 teams on the bubble, and I don't think they're going to take 7 Big Ten teams in the NCAA tournament, but 5 or 6 is not out of the question. Michigan State working their way up. They lost this weekend in their opening game, but they're at 40. Indiana's at 50. Maryland's at 51. And Michigan, they're at 69. So as we mentioned, pretty much out of the picture from an at-large perspective. But they do have an opportunity. If they can win these final 6 games, they're going to be at 36-20, and they're certainly going to jump. And this is a big if they can sweep Oklahoma State.
That's a big if.
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. But Oklahoma State currently at 14 in RPI. Even a series win over them would certainly vault Michigan into that bubble picture, which is something that Michigan fans haven't had to experience in quite some time, at least from a baseball perspective. Softball, they haven't been in the bubble in years because they're always in the tournament. But Michigan baseball certainly building off their progress that they've made in the past couple of years, having a bit of more of a veteran lineup, and that Big Ten tournament will be a big opportunity if Michigan can get things going to vault themselves into the tournament.
UF returns for a 6th inning of work. He deals a breaking ball low to R.J. Waters. Waters 1 for 2 in the day. Singled on a seeing eye base hit in the 2nd inning. Came around to score. Struck out in the 3rd. He'll pop that one over the screen. And that's perhaps our best chance of getting a ball that didn't make it quite to us. But that's, I think, perhaps the best chance of us getting is if a poor bunt attempt like that makes it to us just a little more pop on it.
I would be shocked if a bunt attempt made it to the press box, but you never know.
That one made it about, I'm saying 11 rows up, about halfway there.
Okay, halfway.
Maybe if you got
about as much as you can pop a bunt up. I mean, unless you're really trying to vault it.
Next pitch, swing and a miss. That one's in the dirt, so they'll have to throw down to first to complete the strikeout. Indeed, they do. And Newdorf gets Waters to strike out for the first out here in the top of the 6th. They'll bring up Cody Stevens, 1 for 2 on the day. Also singled in that 2nd inning and came around to score. Flew out to right field. A routine fly out to Johnny Slater his last time up. That was in the 4th. We're in the 6th inning. Wolverines lead 6-4. He laces that one to right center field. Slater giving chase, and he will make the catch. Another Slater takes away extra base hit from Cody Stevens.
Yeah, nice play by Slater. Almost looked like he misread it again. It seems like maybe it's just the way his demeanor out there, but seemed like he misplayed it temporarily. But he's got a lot of speed, got a lot of defensive ability. That's why he's in the lineup, even though he isn't necessarily hitting at his best at .214 batting average. But he's in that lineup because he can make plays out in right field. They need plays in this high-contact Northwestern team.
And another bunt attempt here by Grant Piekert. We saw that by Waters with a few bunt attempts. And Piekert bunts one foul, 0-1. Newdorf delivers. Breaking ball, strike in the outside corner. Perfect pitch there. Piekert had little chance, and he quickly falls behind 0-2. Ready Piekert against the ready Newdoff. Newdoff delivers 0-2. And that one's a grounder to shortstop, scooped up by Bivens, and he'll throw over across the diamond to first base and get a third out. There's an easy inning for Ryan Newdoff, and perhaps he's earned himself one more inning. He had 2 rough innings to start, but he's bounced back with 4 good ones. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Wolverines lead 6-4. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Zach Sean. We're going to take this time to update you on some out-of-town scores presented by the Daily Sports Report on WCBN FM Ann Arbor 88.3 on your dial. You can listen Monday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30.
And our last show is on Tuesday, so be sure to stay tuned for the finale. We'll have a Monday show and a Tuesday show, and then we're on summer vacation. May 12th is our last day, and I don't know who will be taking our spot. Maybe it's some polka, maybe it's some folk music on the drive home. Guess last night they were playing 80s hip-hop classics. Nonetheless, we'll get to the scores. Penn State, as I mentioned, beat Michigan State. Big win for Michigan as far as their seeding goes. They won 5-3 last night, and they're up 4-3. Penn State is, at least, in the bottom of the 6th today. Maryland toppled Ohio State. Maryland's been all over the place this year, but they thumped Ohio State 13-4 last night. They're taking on same opponent today. Minnesota fell to Iowa. Iowa continuing to cruise. They're now at 16-3 in Big Ten play. They won 7-3 last night. Rutgers, Illinois got postponed. Illinois continued its hot streak and took down Rutgers today. They're currently one of the top 10 teams in the country, riding a tremendous win streak. I believe it's at 25 games now. Nebraska leading Purdue already 4-1 in the bottom of the 2nd, and Indiana lost to Long Beach State in a late season non-conference showdown. 12-5 last night. They'll take on the what are they called? The Dirtbags, Long Beach State Dirtbags.
Indeed they are.
Another 3-game series in the non-conference look. So as we mentioned, Michigan trying to gain some seeding, trying to get themselves into that top 4 in time for the Big Ten tournament, but a lot of it's out of their hands as they are going to be the first team done with their conference schedule.
And Jake Bivens will be the first up to face Joe Schindler. Joe Schindler with a easy 5th inning against the Wolverines. Got a strikeout and got through 3 outs with only 10 pitches. And once again, another TV delay here from Big Ten Network. So delaying this game and adding to just the super long time. We're here 2 hours into the game and only in the bottom of the 6th. So we're heading right for about that 3-hour mark. We want to remind our listeners that we never delay the games here on WCBN Sports.
Throwing shade at Big Ten Network.
First pitch to Jake Bivens is a strike.
We also, in WCBN fashion, always like to take shots at the man. WCBN known a little bit more for their hippie roots as a student radio station.
Really, we're embracing that here at WCBN Sports.
Oh, certainly.
Bivens takes the next pitch outside for a ball, 1-1. Jackson Gline standing on deck. 1-1 pitch. Grounder to first base. Scooped up by Jones on a couple of skips. He'll flip over to the covering Joe Schindler. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Wolverines lead 6-4. Trying to tack on some insurance runs as we head to the late innings. Jackson Glines will dig into that lefty batter's box. 1 for 3 on the day. That hit came in the big 4th inning for the Wolverines. An RBI single. He advanced to 2nd on the throw home. Fielder's choice in the 1st inning. And a ground out to first base in the 3rd. The new walk-off music with Jackson Glines throwing me off. I've gotten so used to each of their songs throughout the season.
And it's like in your sleep. You're thinking, right. Glines is up.
And then you can't. You're like, wait, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he takes the first pitch for a ball. Here's the 1-0. There's a strike in the outside corner. Fastball hits the outside black of the plate. Means the count at 1-1 for Schindler. Schindler, the sophomore righty from Eugene, Oregon, 6'1", 190 pounds. 1-1 delivery. That one's skied to center field. Tracking back is Waters, and he will make the catch about 15 feet in front of the warning track. So Glines gave it a little bit of a ride, about, let's say, 360 feet out there to center field, but just a long out here. That's 2 outs here in the bottom of 6th. Leave it up to Carmen Benedetti. Already 3 RBIs on the day, and as Zach mentioned, that brought him to .60 on the year and tied for second in the nation. So an impressive performance by the sophomore. 1 for 2 on the day.
Only one way to get an RBI with nobody on, and that's a home run. We'll see what he can do here.
3 home runs this year, looking for more, but instead he will ground it to shortstop. Stevens will scoop it up, throw it to first, and he is out by half a step. Just barely got beat by the throw there. He was hustling down the line, trying to claw out an infield base hit, but a nice play by Cody Stevens. There's a strong fielder. We noted that in pregame warmups, really making a number of impressive throws in the hole. Cody Stevens, not necessarily known for his bat, but an impressive glove in the field. That's why he's in the lineup. He's batting 260, so a solid performer at the plate as well, but definitely known more for his glove than his offensive prowess. Makes a nice play there. And Northwestern has another easy inning. We head to the top of the 7th. Wolverines lead 6-4. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Andrew Hausman alongside Zach Shaw. Ryan Newdoff returns to the mound for a 7th inning of work. So after those 2 rough innings, he's bounced back well, and he'll get another chance here.
Yeah, nice job by Newtoff settling in. It looked a little scary. Northwestern isn't known for getting on pitchers that much. They're not much of a offensively powered team. They're not much of a defensively powered team either, and their pitching staff isn't much to write home about. That's why they are 5-14 in Big Ten play, 15-34 overall. But things got a little scary. Newtoff, it just seemed like the ball just wasn't falling in his favor today early on. So nice job by him, really making that contact a little bit tougher to come by. Mixing up his pitch a little bit more. Working that strike zone, not necessarily just firing in strikes. It can be easy to go on autopilot, especially if your control is working well. But nice job by him, just really buckling down, thinking, okay, how can I pitch here rather than just throw the ball, becoming a pitcher and really getting things done. And for Northwestern, it's going to be Connor Lind. Lind has a single and an RBI, and he also reached via hit by pitch. And Newtoff at 91 pitches, so it's certainly base runner or 2. You have to think that Backett is going to go to the bullpen.
Okay, see 2 pitchers warming up. Looks like Mac Lozier, and then another pitcher not quite as far along in his warm-up progression. He's standing directly behind the light pole, so can't tell who that is.
Maybe Paul just getting himself loose for the 8th or 9th inning. This may be the first time Cronenworth has a save opportunity since early February. Brian Paul stepped into that closer role. Newtoff with a pitch. Had a nice hook on it, but low. It's going to be ball 1. High. Newtoff winds up. Lind, big swing and a miss. Had to step out of the batter's box there. 1-1 count.
Comes right back with the breaking ball. And a very nice pitch there. Gets the swing and miss from the freshman third baseman.
The 1-1 delivery. Buckles back in to hit the low outside corner of the strike zone. 1-2 count. That's a tough pitch for anyone to hit.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Connor Lind so far this series. Not getting it done offensively, but finding ways to contribute.
Lind fouls it away. Stay alive. Keep the count at 1-2.
We've seen some good plays over at third base. Consistent fielder for a freshman. And also with a smart play to let that bunt go foul. Just showing some wisdom beyond his years.
1-2 pitch. High. Evens count at 2.
Also leaning into that pitch in the 4th where we thought he should have just been sent right back to the batter's box.
He was not. The 2-2 pitch. Lind fouls it away with the first base section of the stands. Just past 2 o'clock here on a pleasant, for us, a summer Saturday afternoon.
Not summer for Northwestern.
2-2 pitch. Lind drives it to left field. Bivens nearly got his hands on it, unable to make the catch. Lays out for it, but it sneaks into left field. Bruder fields it and holds Lind to a single.
And that's just another seeing eye base hit for these Northwestern Wildcats. That would have been an absolutely spectacular play if Bivens had came up with that one. An easy choice for a web gem, but nonetheless just escapes the reach of his glove. And a leadoff single for the Wildcats as they try to rally here.
And that's going to bring Scott Heelan, the leadoff hitter, to the plate. Heelan looked like he was going to make things difficult early on in the game with a leadoff single and a run, but has been relatively quiet since. He did get an RBI ground out to third base in the second inning. Second pitch is high. It's going to make it a 2-0 count.
Patrick popped out of his stance like he was going to throw behind Lind at first. I think he would have had a shot. Lind was 15 feet down the line.
Caught him snoozing. Lind has no stolen bases on the season. Utah with the pitch, and Lind hits a ground ball. It takes a high hop and quick throw by Mazes, but unable to get Heelan, the leadoff hitter. And that's just bad luck. That was a very high hit. You probably got to assume that's a base hit. The ground ball bounced off the turf, a little bit bouncier than your normal infield grass, and Mazes unable to corral it and make the throw in time.
Yeah, really nothing Mazes can do there. He has to wait for it to come down. He can't charge and go after it. And good speed by Heelan gets him down to first base in time. Runners at first and second, nobody out. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pitching change soon.
Yeah, no real strong hits, but it brings up Zach Jones, who has a single and an RBI today. And Bakich is going to make his way out to the mound, and the members of the Michigan dugout are going to make their way out as well to form the wall or the tunnel of high fives that come after a pitcher has completed his job out on the mound. Newtoff responsible for the 2 runners on, so has 4 runs so far in 6 innings pitched. Could add a couple more. What do you make of his performance?
Well, I'm going to give him credit for bouncing back. It was not the Ryan Newtoff we know and love in those first 2 innings. Just giving up a lot of weak contact that fell in for hits and just allowing Northwestern to capitalize on some swing on the first pitch. But good adjustments there by Ryan Newtoff, and up until this inning, he's had 4 shutdown innings, pretty relatively easy for the freshman right-hander. So good bounce back, and overall, I give it a solid performance. He's been backed by his offense, as you can expect by Wolverines facing off against a rather weak Northwestern pitching staff. And now it's up to Mac Lozier to try and come in and shut the door, prevent Northwestern from getting back into this game.
And that brings in Mac Lozier. Newtoff ended his day with 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. Still responsible for the runners on base, as there are 2 of them. Nobody out. Mac Lozier comes in with a 2.31 ERA, pitched 11 2/3 innings, giving up just 5 hits, 3 runs, 10 walks, about 1 per inning, but also 15 strikeouts. Also good for more than 1 per inning, almost 1.5 per inning, giving up a double and a home run. What's the mentality here if you're Bakich and you're trying to get Mac Lozier ready to be on the mound, or if you're Mac Lozier and warming up here?
The mentality is attack the hitters. In Mount Pleasant, almost a disastrous inning for Mac Lozier. He came in for an inning pitch and gave up 3 walks. Really just tried to give away the game to the Chippewas after they had come back to tie that game at 5, and really just tried to hand away with a bunch of walks. Was able to get out of it. Had a huge strikeout when he came into the game, and was able to escape. So really got to attack the hitters. Can't let anyone get on base for free here. At the same time, Northwestern has done a good job finding spots with little bloop singles here and dinky ground ball hits. Good for infield singles there. So I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, Northwestern 8 hits on the game. All of those singles, no extra base hits for the Wildcats. So what you can do here is just really come after them, try and get some swings and misses here, or maybe even something on the ground for potential double play ball.
Yeah, Northwestern not a huge extra base hit team. I think their leader in extra bases is Zach Jones, of course, who's at the plate right now. He has 20 doubles, 1 triple, and 1 home run, 22. But as we mentioned, Michigan has quite a bit more extra base power. Nonetheless, Lozier steps onto the mound with 2 on, nobody out. And the number 2 hitter at the plate, Jones, hints bunt. Corner infielders, the corner in. Ooh, rough start for Michigan as Kendall Patrick lets a high floater get away from him for a pass ball, and that's going to advance both base runners.
I think you might have to think about walking Jones here, as you mentioned, one of the more dangerous hitters in this lineup with some pop in that bat. Already 1-0. maybe not intentional walk, but perhaps the unintentional intentional walk here. You got that base open here at first base. You can have the force at every base with nobody out. Obviously, you never want to put the go-ahead run on base, but we're only in the 7th. There's lots of baseball still to be played.
And the infielders playing back, Mazes leading that shift. They're certainly going to trade outs for runs at this point.
Well, you can't really do that here when there's 9 outs left and you're only
I
winning
don't
by
know.
2.
It's statistically not a great strategy, but I think especially with nobody out, you want to get at least 1 out on the board. But again, I'm not the coach, so I'm not making that decision.
There's a reason we're up here in the broadcast booth and Back is just down in the dugout.
Third pitch on Jones is in there for the first strike. 2-1 count.
Nice breaking ball there. Trying to induce something in the ground here.
Cloud cover increasing here in Ann Arbor over Ray Fisher Stadium, but Northwestern with a storm brewing of their own. And Jones misses on a pitch that was way outside, nearly got past Patrick. 2-2 count.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous there. Patrick with his about to have his second pass ball of the inning, but nonetheless able to stay in front of it just narrowly. Keep the runners in their places, second, third. That's Lind at third, Heelan at second. Big pitch coming right here.
2-2 pitch. And Jones fouls it away. Stay alive.
Wolverines playing just about average depth all around in the outfield, pretty much straight up on the lefty Jones. Depending on how deep it is to hit to the outfield, they might have a shot to nab a runner attempting to come home on a sacrifice fly. It definitely would be close.
This outfield playing in. Bruder playing about normal depth. And Jones sends it over to first. Benedetti tries to field it, unable to get it, and he is able to corral, gives it to Lozier, who's able to tag first for the out. But scary moment for the Wolverines is Carmen Benedetti fielded the ground ball, but didn't bring it with him as he tried to tag first.
Yeah, first baseman on either side have had a very adventurous day today. Definitely Zach Jones with the more adventurous day. His
losing
gloves,
losing balls. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Benedetti is clearly in there for his bat over his defense. Although he can play all over the field. We've seen him out in left field a number of times. We've even seen him on the mound. Is he a finalist for best two-way player in baseball?
Infield shading in now. They traded 1 run for 1 out. They don't want to give up their lead if they can avoid it.
Yeah, now looking to play extra innings here in Ann Arbor.
Northwestern scored on the ground ball. Now only trail 6-5. Here's the pitch on Mitchell. Check swing, foul ball. And Lozier, after kind of working through a count and a battle against Jones, already ahead 0-2 on Mitchell.
And this is where Mac Lozier, he's a strikeout pitcher. He needs a big strikeout here.
Michigan trying to hold on to its lead. Runner on third, 1 out. Lozier with the pitch. In there. Got strikes, and Mitchell heads back to the dugout. And suddenly Northwestern's rally doesn't look nearly as intimidating as there's 2 outs. And Lozier getting his first strikeout of the game.
Big strikeout there. Just what I ordered right before that pitch.
Glad you ordered it.
And a very interesting move here as we saw Mitchell hand off his bat to Joe Hoscheit. You don't see that all the time. A lot of times each player will have their own bat, but indeed that's what happened.
Hoscheit watches. Strike 1. It's right in there. Nice breaking ball by Lozier. Hoscheit 1 for 3 on the day with 1 RBI. Lozier from the stretch with the pitch. Hoscheit fouls it off his leg. Falls behind 0-2. So Lozier really not in the mood to waste time here.
Yeah, as I mentioned, coming into this appearance, he's got to go right after the hitters. Can't afford to walk anybody. And though he did have a little bit of trouble with Jones, he fell behind 2-0 before evening at 2-2, then getting the scary ground out courtesy of Carmen Benedetti.
Yeah, Benedetti almost looked like he was trying to get a double play, but he forgot the ball. Nearly didn't get one. That ball is low and away. Try to get Hochschild chasing 1-2 count. Now, do you think Loser's trying to prove anything here just about the control after some issues on Wednesday?
I don't think he has too much to prove. I think both him and Coach Eric Baxter, that's an aberration. He's just trying to get the job done for his team.
1-2 pitch fouled away.
Wind really starting to pick up here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Blowing in from center field to right center field.
Well, before we have to deal with the literal storm, Lozier trying to weather the figurative one. Baseball? What's that bad?
You already made the joke.
1-2 pitch. I made it in a different way.
You just said the same joke.
Not the same joke. Similar joke with the storm and the storm, but it's from the perspective of Michigan rather than the perspective of Northwestern. Someday you'll appreciate good humor. Lozier ready for the 1-2 pitch. Delivers, and it's driven by Hochschild to left field. Bruder fields it, but Northwestern ties the game at 6 as Scott Heelan, the catcher, comes around to score.
And that's called a big 2-out hit for the Wildcats. They even this game up off Mac Lozier. Both those runs will be charged to start Ryan Nudoff. So looking at his final line, it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah.
6 earned runs. And if you were here at the game, obviously you saw that he really didn't get shelled at all. He just gave up a little too much contact in those first 2 innings, and then 2 bloop little singles here in the 7th were enough to cause more damage. And we're sitting in a tie game going right down to the wire in the top of the 7th. This is not over yet. Hochschild taking his lead off first base. Benedetti holding with him there.
Dowk steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day. 217 batting average overall. Swing and a miss. Even the count at 1. 2 away. Lozier trying to stop the bleeding now.
Dowk trying to impress his large contingent that made the travel from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. It's about a 45-minute drive from here.
And one of the few times he gets to play so close to his family. Lozier with the 1-1 pitch. Another one in the dirt. This one a ball. 2-1 count.
2 good blocks by Kendall Patrick to keep Hochschild out of scoring position, keep him parked at first base. And with the Wildcats not with any extra base hits so far, make sure the Wildcats have to string together a few hits rather than just scoring Hochschild from second.
Dowk grounds it to Cronenworth, who flips it over to Benedetti to end the inning. But Northwestern hacks on a couple more. We got a tie baseball game. Just a couple more frames to play. Michigan tied 6-6 against Northwestern heading into the bottom of the 7th inning. Obviously, if you didn't know already, you're listening to the WCBN FM broadcast of Michigan baseball. I'm Zach Shaw. Joining me in the booth is Andrew Hausman. 6-6 baseball game, and now it seems to be a battle of the bullpens.
Indeed, it will be, and I say that's got to favor the Wolverines. Well, the Mac Lozier did come in and allow those 2 inherited runners to score, but as we saw yesterday, this is not the best Northwestern Wildcats bullpen. They had a real rough go of things. Their bullpen ended up giving up 7 runs yesterday. Megalennis had a decent day, ended up getting responsible for 5 earned runs, but Bordion had a really rough day, giving up 3 hits, 4 earned runs. Did not even record an out. Hoffman couldn't do much better. Pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 runs himself, and Schreiber came in relief of both of them, gave up another run himself. Forden was the only one with any success, but that was when the Wolverines were pinch hitting galore in the bottom of the 8th. So take that for what you will. So every one of the Wildcats relief pitchers that came in and faced the Wolverines starting lineup gave up at least 1 run. Obviously, Schindler's had a good day so far. 2 innings pitched, 1 strikeout, has retired all 6 batters. He's faced only 17 pitches, so efficient work so far. As the Wolverines jumped into the lead with that 3-run 4th inning against starter Matt Portland. Schindler's come in relief, and he's done a good job.
It's going to be Bruder, Mazes, and Kendall Patrick to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Michigan trying to regain a lead that is surrendered by giving up 2 runs in the top half of the inning. And for Northwestern, it's going to be Joe Schindler back out on the mound. Fires in a breaking ball. Looked good from up here, and it's going to be called a strike. 0-1 count. Schindler winds up for the 0-1 pitch. And Bruder swing and a miss. That ball nowhere near the plate. But nonetheless, Bruder, who's 2 for 3 on the day, does have 1 strikeout, down 0-2. Wind picking up. Schindler, the 3rd pitch, tried to get Bruder chasing.
That was a little too close to take, but just missed a little bit low and outside.
1-2 count. Schindler winds up, and Bruder swung on a miss. He is not happy as he strikes out swinging for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Bruder up and down day. Struck out swinging in that first inning, then has had 2 solid pieces of hitting his last 2 times up. But strikeout there. And now Mazes with a similar pattern. He struck out looking his first time up when he thought he had a walk. Threw the bat away, but home plate umpire Herbert Doan Jr. rung him up. But Mazes has responded with 2 singles in the 3rd and 4th.
Looking to continue that success. Obviously, last time he was up, 3-run 4th inning. Got things going.
Yeah, he singled that one to Lind over at 3rd base, and there really was no play on the ball, just kind of a weak hit in the right spot that loaded the bases, and Wolverines able to do some damage after that.
The 2-0 pitch is grounded foul on the first base side.
He also saw Mazes with that, we'll say, creative base running when he danced that was back in the 3rd when he danced off of first base. They thought they had him at 2nd. Bruder was able to come in and score and got the Wolverines within 1, drew within 4-3 in the bottom of the 3rd.
The 2-1 pitch is in there. Looked outside from up here, but what do I know? 2-2 count.
Wolverines trying to mount a rally here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Mazes strikes out, and Schindler has come in and been pretty impressive in locking down this Michigan offense. 0 runs surrendered after Portland made it seem like Michigan had woken up and was ready to attack on a lot of runs and pick up where they left off last night when they won 12-4.
Yeah, Schindler's put him right back to sleep. Adding first with Bruder, now Mays is adding them to his list of strikeout victims.
There you go. Brings up Kendall Patrick. We're talking about repeat jokes. I already made that one, but nonetheless, 1-0 count on Kendall Patrick. Schindler winds up. Ball low and away. 2-0 count.
Patrick will be happy to get on base any way he can. He's had a real rough day. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He did reach base on the first one of those when he perhaps, we'll never know if it was intentional or just a little fortunate bounce. The third strike skipped away from catcher Scott Heelan, and Patrick was able to hustle down to first base and reach in the drop third strike.
3-0 pitch high, and Patrick will reach on a 4-pitch walk. And now Backich is talking to Kevin White. If you're Backich, what are you telling White?
Telling Kevin White, don't try to do too much. He hasn't had a good day today. 0 for 3. He's kind of, I know you're kind of sick of this analogy per se of he's descended into Kevin White 1.0, but that's indeed what he looked like.
I'd forgotten about it.
But Backich telling him not to try and do too much. Just be patient up there and not try and launch everything out of the park like we kind of saw last year. Kevin White looked like he was swinging for the fences every single at-bat.
White has a strikeout, a pop-out, and a ground-out. Pop-out to right field, ground-out to shortstop. He waits the first pitch. That's low and in the dirt. And that is Schindler's 5th straight ball.
Patrick taking his lead off first base, not a threat to steal. No stolen base attempts or successful steals on the year. Kind of hard to have a successful steal without a stolen base attempt, but
it is tough. You need a typo for that to happen. White, big swing and a miss, even the count at 1.
And once again, swinging for the fences, Kevin White. He refuses to ever choke up on that bat. Go for 2-strike hitting. I mean, sure, there was no strikes in the count, but that was a powerful swing. Reminds me of a little bit of young Vlad Guerrero.
1-1 pitch gets away from Heelan, but stays in front of him. So Patrick, as fleet-footed as he is, unable to advance to second base.
Don't rip on us catchers too much.
Oh, you're one of them now?
I always have.
And White drives it to left center field. That's deep, heading toward the wall, and it bounces off the wall. Going to come around to score, and Michigan is going to take a 7-6 lead. Kevin White comes through. I don't care which Kevin White that is. Michigan takes the lead.
And swang for the fences, and indeed he did. He hit it off the base of the wall. What a drive. That's out to one of the deepest parts of the ballpark. Probably hit that one about 380 feet off the left center field wall. Kendall Patrick able to motor all the way around the bases with 2 outs. He was loose enough to run on contact. And even so, even without 2 outs, he would have known that one was not being caught right off the bat. So he's able to score easily, and Kevin White able to get a nice stand-up double. And right after the Wolverines surrender the lead, they answer right back. And they have a chance for more here with Kevin White in scoring position with 2 outs for Johnny Slater.
Another 2-out RBI, Kevin White, the donator this time, as Johnny Slater steps up to the plate. Slater having himself a relatively nice day. Bumped his average up to 226. It was 214 to start the day. As a single, and obviously that double to right center that helped spark the Michigan rally, and he struck out his last time up in the 5th inning.
Wolverines once again doing a good job hitting with runners in scoring position. 4 of 10 on the day after 6 of 16 yesterday. Also 8 of 14 2-out hitting today. Very impressive for the Wolverines.
0-1 count on Slater. 2 away. And Slater belts it to right field. It's high and deep. It's going to be caught around the warning track by Kevin Mitchell to end the inning. But nonetheless, Michigan got the run that it needed, and we head to the 8th inning. Michigan on top, 7-6.
And you got to like the at-bat by Johnny Slater. Obviously didn't get the run in, but piece of hard contact. Gave that one a long ride. Probably hit it about 300 feet up there to right field. So another strong day at the plate continues for Johnny Slater. Has those 2 hits, and after the strikeout in his last plate appearance in the 5th, you're able to come back and hit the ball hard despite not being able to knock in the run. And we'll see who ends up taking the mound. It looks like it'll be Jacob Cronenworth.
Going to be on the mound, making his first bullpen appearance, and I guess he was in the bullpen on Wednesday.
Yes, he was.
But normally the Friday starter, at least he'd kind of taken that role as of late in this season. Hill coming back from injury. Some of the other starting pitcher candidates didn't appear up to the task. They put Cronenworth in there against Maryland, looking for a spark. He did pretty well. If I remember correctly, 3 runs given up in 6 innings against a very high-powered offense. 2 runs in 5 innings, so 1 off on both. But nonetheless, sort of settled himself into that starting position role. And what do you expect to see from Cronenworth out of the pen?
Well, I expect what we saw out of him Wednesday in Mount Pleasant. Absolutely shut down performance. He pitched the 9th and 10th innings of what was a tie game, and then after the Wolverines had took the lead in the top of the 10th, he just shut down the Chippewas, struck out 4 batters in 2 innings. I expect to see more of the same here as he looks to pick up a save here, likely a 6-out save, and I don't think with him showcasing his starting ability, I don't think Baggett has any concerns about him pitching too many innings. I fully expect him to try and get the last 6 outs of this game.
That would make it his 4th save of the season, which somehow he snuck in 4 saves there despite being a starter for most of conference play. Jacobson comes in at second base to fill in for Cronenworth. I assume Jacobson will be unable to hit due to the designated hitters. It would probably keep Cronenworth in the batting order. Cronenworth is going to start things off against RJ Waters. Waters had a single and a run in the 2nd inning and has struck out in his 2 plate appearances since.
Yeah, we'll see what Coach Beckett decides to do here, whether he slots Jacobson into the lineup and leaves Cronenworth in, with Jacobson replacing the designated hitter Kevin White, or if he's going to let Kevin White bat. But we might not even get to that point, as the Wolverines, if it holds right now, have only 1 more batting inning, and Kevin White just batted last inning, so you may never know.
It can stay a mystery.
Just like the mystery of the Kendall Patrick swing and miss on his first plate appearance. Did he mean to do it on purpose and let the ball get away?
Yeah, lots of mysteries going on here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
Why did the glove come off the hand of Zach Jones? We'll never know.
Did Zach's car get hit by a foul ball?
We'll know that, though.
Yeah, we will find that one out. And right off the bat, RJ Waters belts one to the left field wall. It goes right down the line. That's going to be a stand-up double. 1 pitch, 1 extra base hit allowed by Jacob Cronenworth.
You cannot like that one. And Michigan, perhaps Bruder, if he had hustled over that one a little more and whipped one in, they would have had a shot at Waters. But Waters looked really almost gimpy rounding first base and had to be instructed by his first base coach to keep going to second. He didn't look like he was thinking too right out of the box, but was able to get there and lead off double. And with a pair of sacrifices, the Wildcats can have this game tied up.
RJ Waters is tied for the team lead in stolen bases with 3. Not too much to brag about. And poor play there by Cody Stevens. Clearly a sacrifice bunt situation, but seemed a little hesitant to do so as he fouls it off for strike 1.
Yeah, fortunately, he didn't pop that one up, able to get it perhaps a little too far down. 0-1. I fully expect him to be bunting here again. If it is a poor bunt, we could see the Wolverines go to third base.
Mays is playing in. That one hit him. And he will be awarded first base.
And the fans are outraged here. They believe that was a foul ball. Looked like it might have hit the bat of Cody Stevens. Nonetheless, home plate umpire Herbert Jones Jr. ruled that one hit him on the hand. And it looks like it did indeed hit him on the hand, as a Northwestern trainer will come scampering out of the dugout to check the hand.
Yeah, I'm all for good acting, but usually if the trainer's coming out, it means you hurt yourself, which means that you probably got hit by the pitch.
Or it's an Oscar-worthy performance.
As I said, love a good performance here and there. And Bakich will come out to the mound. Doesn't look like a pitching change is due at all. Might just be talking to the infield now that Northwestern has 2 runners on. They're only down 1, so the go-ahead runner is on first base. And if you're Bakich, what's the play here?
I think the play here is try and induce a double play ball. So you're going to play your infielders at double play depth. You're with runners at first and second. You can play Benedetti a little shaded into that hole over between first and second. You do still have to watch out for the bunt. So I think you're going to play Mazes in to watch out for that possible bunt. And I think that will pretty much cover it here. I think the outfield will play at about average depth, straight up all around on the right-handed hitter Grant Prikert. 0 for 2 on the day. Also had a sacrifice ground out. That was a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, I assume it would be a bunt. It's a third base. Maybe trying to do it again to advance the runners that are currently on first and second.
I would not be surprised.
It would be one of the more predictable plays that have occurred in this game.
Lots of mysteries.
Oh, yeah. 7-6, Michigan on top, looking to keep it that way. Northwestern knocking on the door to tie things up. And that's the second straight bunt attempt that hit a Wildcat. I guess that one hit Pikert's helmet. And Cronenworth showing some control issues.
Well, this is not what I expected.
The bases are now loaded.
Nobody out.
Third baseman, number 15, Connor Lind.
Perhaps a triple play is in order.
Looks like, you know, that would probably suit Michigan just fine. Northwestern's head coach.
Third base coach,
excuse me. Making the trot down
That's not a trot. That's it.
making a stroll. A rather hefty fellow. Talking to the umpire. Not sure what about.
Perhaps on possible ejection issues for throwing at the head of Grant Pikert.
Did not look intentional. Nonetheless, Connor Lind will step
Another
up.
mystery of this game.
So many. Lind is 2 for 2 on the day. Has reached base all 3 times. RBI single in the second, hit by a pitch in the 4th, and a single and a run in the 7th. So certainly not the guy you want at the plate. With the bases loaded and nobody out, Cronenworth fires in strike 1.
I'll take the 232 average at the plate.
Cronenworth sends it to first. Benedetti makes a brilliant stop. Cronenworth able to get there in time to get 1 out, but Northwestern does tie the game. Nice defensive play by Benedetti to get that stop, because that ball looked like it was going to be another one of those seeing eye singles that just breaks through the infield just barely and drives in a couple runs.
Nonetheless, Northwestern ties the game, and they are still very much threatening here. They have a runner at third with less than 2 outs, so they're fully expecting to get that guy home, as well as a runner at second. So runners at second, third, only 1 out. They have a chance to take the lead here. Now with the Wolverines expected off of Jacob Cronenworth, looks like a pitcher warming up could be Brian Paul down in the bullpen.
Brian Paul, the pitcher who took over closing duties for Cronenworth.
Indeed, it is Brian Paul. You can tell by his trademark wind-up motion.
And Scott Heelan grounds it, but Cronenworth unable to field it. Had an opportunity to get an out at home. Cronenworth missed it on the scoop. And Northwestern has taken an 8-7 lead.
Very disappointing from Jacob Cronenworth. That was an excellent fielder, and that doesn't change when he's on the mound. He had a chance, just rushed it a little bit, tried to pick it up and throw the ball before it was even in his glove, trying to get the out at home. He saw Stevens hustling home, able to get the out, and still only 1 out here with a runner at third. Northwestern can add an insurance run. They lead 8-7 here in the top of the 8th.
1 out as Zach Jones sends it over to second base. Jacobson nearly made a costly error trying to get a little fancy with that throw, but they do record the second out. Northwestern scores its 3rd run of the inning, however, and now leads 9-7.
Right fielder, number 13, Jack Mitchell.
And not only have they come back, tied the game, taken the lead, they've also taken on insurance. Wolverines have their work cut out in their final 2 innings. Not to mention, Northwestern still threatening here. Runner in scoring position with 2 outs. That's in the form of Scott Heelan, the catcher and leadoff batter for the Wildcats.
Kevin Mitchell, 0 for 3 on the day, steps up to the plate. Fires ball 1 inside. 2 outs, runner on second. Northwestern trying to tack on to their newfound lead. Cronenworth, the 1-0 pitch. Low and away. 2-0. He is really struggling out on the mound.
Definitely not what I expected when he came into this game. First gave up that first pitch double to Waters, then back-to-back hit by pitches on bunt attempts before a fielder's choice, then a fielding error by Cronenworth himself, and then a ground out.
That pitch is in there. Strike one.
Those each allowed a run to score, and Northwestern changed a 7-6 deficit into a 9-7 lead.
The 2-1 pitch. And Mitchell grounds it to Mazes, who fires it over to first. Benedetti stretches, makes the play.
Nice defense.
Nice defensive play, but Michigan now has its backs against the wall, trailing 9-7 heading into the bottom of the 8th.
And Jacob Cronenworth will have a chance to redeem himself here. He's going to be the first one up and trying to get on base here. 1 for 3 on the day. Also reached base on a walk. He's scored 2 runs. And Wolverines will have to rally here. We'll see who comes onto the mound. Looks like it'll still be Schindler. He's only thrown 36 pitches. Indeed, it will be. He's returning for a 4th inning of work. He's been superb out of the bullpen so far. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run. That was earned. 3 strikeouts against 1 walk. He's retired 9 of the 11 batters he's faced. Did give up that go-ahead run last inning, but now he's got a little bit of cushion to work with. Wolverines need 2 in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, we mentioned that it was going to become a battle of the bullpens, and we thought Michigan had the upper hand. Lozier didn't do too well. He allowed the 2 runners he inherited to score. Cronenworth, not a whole lot better as he gave up 3 runs. Meanwhile, Schindler, on the other hand, has pitched 3 innings of work, giving up just 1 hit and 1 run. So certainly different than it was listed on paper as Northwestern's bullpen winning the battle of the bullpens.
Yeah, not what we expected. I definitely gave the strong advantage to the Wolverines, but credit where credit is due to Joe Schindler so far.
Top of the order for the Wolverines. Stepping up to the plate, it's going to be Cronenworth, Bivens, Glines. So if you're Michigan and you need a couple runs, this is the time to do it. Bottom of the 8th, top of the order, alumni band trying to keep the fans in attendance energized and enthusiastic. Still no signs of a storm. I think we were anticipating between 2 and 3. It's 2:42 now, and still just partly cloudy skies on a beautiful day. Bit of a wind or breeze coming in. It'll probably eliminate a couple home run opportunities, including Kevin White's double.
Yeah, I fully expect that if the wind had been blowing out, or maybe even if there's no wind, that would have cleared the wall. But with it coming in pretty strongly, it wasn't this strong at the time of the contact. So it probably would have been blowing out to left center field for that one to have a chance, but definitely was knocked down a little bit by the wind. Also, a little cooler day here, only 75 degrees. If it was in the high 80s or even 90s like it was yesterday, the heat could have played a factor as well and carried that one out.
Schindler versus Cronenworth. Schindler fires ball 1, and Cronenworth drives ball 2 foul of the third base line. Got good contact, but got under it. 1-1 count.
Northwestern in their trademark no doubles look. They've been in it all game long. Continues here.
And Cronenworth drops right, and that is deep, and it is good. And it's now Cronenworth with his 6th run of the year. And man, you have to take it off. First strike you can see.
What a rip by Jacob Cronenworth. Just launched that well over the right field wall, about 330 feet. And as we mentioned, the wind coming in from left center field, but that had no effect going out to right field. A great pull home run by Jacob Cronenworth, as a number of his home runs have been. And the Wolverines are right back within 1. That leaves it up to Jake Bivens to try and mount a rally here. And I think that could be the end of the day for Joe Schindler. There's been a number of pitchers warming up in the Northwestern bullpen. You update on who that is as soon as we can get information.
Peek over that wall, designed to shield us from the bullpen. But nonetheless, Cronenworth, 6th home run of the year, his 38th RBI of the season as well. 9-8, Northwestern on top. Now, obviously, it's a whole body of work, a baseball game, but in the world of good and bad, Did Cronenworth redeem himself with that home run?
Not yet.
So you're saying the entire team has to redeem Cronenworth for his wrongdoing on the mound?
Well, I think it wasn't his pitching issues. It was also his fielding issues that allowed a run to score. They had a chance to get the second of the inning at home, but instead a error by Jake Cronenworth allowed that run to score. So if he just had the pitching issues and maybe one of his teammates let him down in the field, then I'd say, yes, he's done all he can to redeem himself, but he had issues in 2 areas of the game in the top of the 8th, and he only could redeem himself in 1 area in the bottom of the 8th just by virtue of baseball. But he did his job there, but unfortunately did not do his job, giving up 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning to allow Northwestern to take the lead and build some insurance. But new pitcher coming in, Jake Stolle, the left-hander, junior coming in for the Wildcats. 6'5", 200 pounds out of Marion, Iowa. 2-3 on the year, 5 saves. He served as the closer for the Wildcats this year. 50 innings pitched, 52 hits, 19 runs, 17 of those earned. Good for a 3.06 ERA. 37 strikeouts against 18 walks. Has given up some extra base hits. Not a ton, 9 doubles, 2 home runs. Wolverines looking for more of those here as they try and tie the game or even take the lead before we head to the 9th inning. Jake Bivens due up. Jackson Glines on deck. Benedetti in the hole. These are 3 hitters you want at the plate. And the alumni band is getting the crowd fired up with a notable Michigan favorite, the Blues Brothers.
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up. This is one of my favorite dances, favorite songs. Sure wouldn't want to see it replaced by something in the near future. We won't mention the
Hail and Unite. Hey, why you gotta bring that up? But favorite dance, favorite sport, favorite broadcast partner, huh? Oh, what a great day Houseman's having. And the sun has poked its way out. Pretty much clear skies over.
Oh, what a great day for Michigan baseball, for WCVN Sports broadcast of Michigan baseball.
Oh, what could be finer? Jake Bivens will be the first one to test out Jake Stolle. Jake versus Jake.
I can tell you what could be finer would be a Wolverines late inning comeback or even a walk-off victory.
Oh, that would be wild. Wild Wolverine walk-off win. Look at that alliteration. I'm already ready.
Well, Wolverines have to do
Over
some work.
Wildcats.
Settle down, Zach.
Stolle with the first pitch in there for a strike.
And not a bad move by Bivens just to see what the new pitcher has given him.
Stolle, a left-hander. As you mentioned, 3.06 ERA. Second pitch is low and away, even the count at 1.
Brought the left-hander Stolle in to face 3 consecutive lefties for the Wolverines, Bivens, Glines, and Benedetti. Mazes and Slater also lefties.
Lefty-heavy lineup for the Wolverines. Oftentimes 7, a couple cases even 8 hitters are left-handed for the Wolverines.
Complete contrast to the Wildcats, who had 8 righty hitters yesterday and 7 today.
2-1 pitch. Bivens grounds it to Stevens, who fields it, sends it over to Jones for the first out of the inning. And that brings up, with his new walk-up song, Jackson Glines. Glines 1 for 4 today. Made contact on all of them. Reached base twice, once with the fielder's choice. Batting average at .357. Glines awaits first pitch of the at-bat. It's high, 1-0 count. The 1-0 pitch from Stolle. In there, strike 1.
Mitchell straight up in right field. Waters in center field, shaded a little bit towards right center. Playing the lefty Glines to pull.
Glines belts it foul toward Yost Ice Arena on the third base side.
Benedetti looming on deck. He would love to hit with runners on base. Chance to add to that Big Ten leading 60 RBIs.
Next pitch. Line foul. Third base line again.
Nice snag there by head coach Eric Baggage.
You know, he played baseball in his younger days. 1-2 count. Stolly delivers. And it's high. 2-2.
A little too close for my liking to take, but good eye there by Jackson Glines, and there's a reason why he's in that lefty batter's box, and I'm up here.
Glines sends another one foul toward Yost Ice Arena yet again. Seems to have Stolly timed. It's just a matter of getting it in fair play.
Yeah, he's just been a little too late on some of these fastballs. Stolly a little harder thrower than both Portland and Schindler for the Wildcats.
The 2-2 pitch. And Glines sends it right to Stevens. Looked like it had base hit all over it, but it sliced to the left field line. And Stevens in the left field line direction, and Stevens able to catch the line drive.
2 outs, leaves it up to Carmen Benedetti. As you mentioned, when there's no one on base, there's only one way to get an RBI, but that'd be a possibility here.
Didn't do it last time. Looking to do it this time. He has 3 RBIs on the day, despite being just 1 for 4. He watches strike 1 from Stolly.
Nice breaking ball there from the lefty Stolly, tailing away from the lefty Benedetti.
Next pitch is high to even the count at 1.
Breaking ball missed way up there. Stolly trying to get Benedetti to chase. He shows good discipline. Stolly working from the first base side of the rubber.
The pitch is low and away. 2-1 count on Benedetti.
Wind still blowing in very strong from center field. Would possibly knock down a lot of fly balls.
Benedetti laces it foul. Same spot Glines hit quite a few. Over the third base dugout beyond the stands toward Yost Ice Arena.
Yeah, Wolverines have been late on a few fastballs here from Stolly.
Full count on Benedetti now. 2 outs, nobody on. Cronenworth got the home run, but Michigan still needs another to tie the game. Trailing 9-8. And Benedetti hits it to center field. Looks like it's going to be tracked down by Waters. Gave it a nice ride, but all good things must come to an end. We head to the top of the 9th. Northwestern clinging to a 9-8 lead. This has been a back-and-forth baseball game.
Indeed, it has. Very exciting. Lots of action. 17 runs, and it's progressed fairly nicely for a game with this much action. 17 runs, 22 hits combined among the teams. And indeed, Jacob Cronenworth will get to reoccupy his spot on the mound. I was expecting to see a reliever. I was expecting Brian Paul to head out there, but nonetheless, Cronenworth will have a chance to redeem himself. And you know what? You asked me the question after he hit the home run, did he redeem himself for his mistakes? I'll say no, but if you can get an easy inning here, keep it down to a 1-run deficit as the Wolverines head to the bottom of the 9th and give themselves a chance to win, I'll say he's redeemed himself at least a little bit in my eyes. First up will be Joe Hoshite, 2 for 4 on the day. Single in the first, struck out looking in the third. Popped out to shortstop in the 5th, and then an RBI single in the 7th. As Northwestern started to claw back in this game, that's when they tied the game back up in the 7th inning, tied it at 6. So just to recap, Northwestern took a 1-0 lead. Wolverines tied it up in the bottom of the first without the benefit of a hit. Then Northwestern jumped out to a 4-1 lead in the top of the second. Wolverines answered back in the bottom of the third with 2 runs to draw within 4-3 before in the 4th exploding for 3. They took a 6-4 lead. That lasted until the top of the 7th when Northwestern tied it up with a 2-run rally, tied it at 6. Wolverines answered right back, made it 7-6, but Northwestern did them 2 better and turned a 7-6 deficit into a 9-7 lead. Wolverines got one back on the Jacob Cronenworth home run last inning, but they still trail 9-8. We head to the top of the 9th here at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor.
And Cronenworth begin the 9th inning against Hoshite, who lines it up the middle. Jacobson able to field it, sends it over to Benedetti. Not time. Hoshite reaches after that ball hit. Looked like off of Cronenworth's leg. Looks like he's all right. Certainly bad luck for the Wolverines as Hoshite able to reach on the pinballed ground ball.
Yeah, Cronenworth has not done the best job fielding his position off the mound. As soon as you release the pitch, you become a fielder. We saw him make that crucial error last inning that allowed a run to score. They could have had a out at the plate, assuming Cronenworth had gotten the ball out of his glove and flipped it to Patrick to apply the tag to get the runner pretty easily.
And Dauk, Michigan native, tries to lay down a bunt. It goes foul. 0-1 count.
Still looking for his first hit of the day, 0-for-3, reached base with a walk. Back to Cronenworth. Really has to just do a better job getting ready for contact right after he releases the pitch. That one, if he'd been in a better fielder stance, probably could have gotten that one and been an easy ground out, but instead goes right through his legs to Jacobson. Jacobson almost makes a spectacular play to get Hoshite, but loses the battle by half a step.
And Hoshite running on the pitch. Dauk lays down a bunt. Patrick fields it, sends it to Benedetti to make the out, but Hoshite now in scoring position as Northwestern is trying to add to their 1-run lead.
And not a bad move here from head coach Paul Stevens. RJ Waters has been hot. 2 for 4 on the day, had a double. His last time out, that was in the 8th. That got the whole rally started. First pitch swinging against Cronenworth, right down the left field line, out of the reach of a diving Travis Mazes. RJ Waters, 2 hits today, 2 hits yesterday. So give him a chance to bat with runners in scoring position. We'll see a pinch runner here for the Wildcats. That's the junior infielder Antonio Fresquet.
It's a pleasant last name. Fresquet.
So a little more speed on the base paths. Perhaps a little better fielder than Hoshite out in the outfield.
Same situation, though. Waters at the plate. 1 out, 1 runner on second. Cronenworth trying to get himself out of another jam. He gave up 3 runs in the 8th to put the game in Northwestern's hands. Michigan has out-hit the Wildcats 12-11, but trail 9-8. Another bunt. Cronenworth fields it, sends it over to Benedetti for a quick second out.
There's some redemption. Fields his position well.
2 away, runner on third.
And just as I was praising head coach Paul Stevens for his sacrifice bunt, I'm not a very big fan of sacrifice bunts, just based on the sabermetrics behind it, but especially that one. You got a hot hitter at the plate, 2 for 4.
A pitcher that's struggling to really make things happen.
Why give the pitcher a free out? I don't really know there. Here's the decision. We'll see if it pays off. Cody Stevens also has a solid day, 2 for 3.
Stevens watches ball 1 come in low.
After Waters had that leadoff double last inning, Stevens was the batter when things started to go awry for Cronenworth. Stevens was trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt to move Waters over to third. And
Stevens
instead,
Cronenworth
plunked him. Cronenworth plunked Stevens when he was trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt, and then plunked Pikert when he was trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt. Pikert nailed him in the head. Stevens got hit on the hand, had to get looked at by a Northwestern trainer.
1-1 count. 2 away, runner on third for Stevens. And Stevens grounds it to Jacobson. Jacobson fields it, sends it over to Benedetti, and Michigan will have an opportunity to extend this game. They bat in the bottom of the 9th, trailing 9-8.
This is what you live for if you're a ball player.
Bruder, Mazes, Patrick. So gotta like what you can get out of this Michigan lineup. It's certainly not dead yet. They have one more chance, and they'll probably go up against Jake Stolle, Northwestern's closer, looking for his 6th save of the season.
And he had a pretty solid inning, last inning. Came in relief after Schindler gave up that leadoff home run to Jacob Croner. Absolutely ripped over that right field wall. But Stolle going for the 6-out save here in Ann Arbor. He lowered his ERA down to 3. Bruder trying to get him tied up. Bruder has had an up and down day, 2 strikeouts swinging. Those were in the 1st and 7th, but sandwich around singles in the 3rd and 4th. So Bruder will try and get the Wolverines going here, just trying to get anything they can to get a runner on base. We'll have to show some patience, maybe draw a walk. Only 18 walks on 51 innings pitched for Jake Stolle, so not a ton of walks, but a decent rate. And this is the last chance for the Wolverines, at least trying to tie this game up. And if they can win in 9 innings, that'd be an added bonus.
Bruder 2 for 2 on the day, 2 singles, 2 strikeouts. Which Houseman just said. But nonetheless, he will begin the bottom of the 9th. As we await the end of another TV timeout.
Yeah, drama is building here at Ray Fisher Stadium, and we've seen this in football, we've seen this in basketball, and now we see it in baseball. Just TV extending these games. They drag on for quite a long time. This game has gone on for more than 3 hours, and it doesn't help by the presence of Big Ten Network televising this game and extending these between inning breaks.
Stolle fires a pitch low and away for ball 1. Working from the stretch with nobody on. Second pitch on the way, and it's good to even the count at 1.
Then fairly close to the line, trying to present any doubles into the corners.
Stolle with the 1-1 delivery. It's low. Looks like it skimmed off the plate. 2-1 count.
Fans starting to make some noise here. Eager to see the Wolverines tie the game here in the bottom of the 9th.
The 2-1 pitch. Bruder with a big swing and a miss. Looked like he lost his footing a little bit. He was swinging so hard. 2-2 count.
Big pitch coming up here. Cody Bruder trying to get on base. 364 batting average leading off innings.
2-2 pitch is fouled. Bounces off the plate. The batter's box.
Outfield deep all around, playing the righty Bruder to pull just a little bit. Mazes standing on deck. He's 2 for 4 on the day. Kendall Patrick in the hole, 0 for 3.
The 2-2 pitch. And got him on strikes. Caught looking. Looked outside from up here. But nonetheless, Bruder is going to be sent down with his 3rd strikeout of the day.
And that's something you can't do here in the 9th. You got to keep fouling off pitches. If you're not sure, you got to swing the bat at this point of the game. I really don't know what Bruder was looking for there.
And that'll bring up Mazes, who have been hitting higher in the order as of late. Moved down after a brief slump, and he watches ball 1 that looked to be closer to the plate than the strike 3 called on Bruder, but
debatable.
1-0 count with 1 away here for Mazes. Second pitch, low and away. Breaking ball broke too much, 2-0 count.
And when it's 2-0 or 2-1, you can afford to let that pitch go by. When there's 2 strikes on you in the bottom of the 9th inning, you got to at least swing the bat.
That pitch is in there. Strike 1. Stolle going to come back against Mazes.
Outfield very deep, straight up on the lefty hitting Mazes.
Solly with a 2-1 delivery. Floated in there, but hung high and make the count 3-1. Mazes with the hitter's count.
That was a hanging breaking ball to drive for Travis Mazes. He let it go by for a ball, but perhaps could have done some damage. Nonetheless, good hitter's count here.
The 3-1 pitch. Mazes sends it up the middle. Cody Stevens fields it, sends it over to Jones to make the second out. And Michigan is down to their final out. And Kendall Patrick, who had such a good day yesterday, not doing so much today, has an opportunity to make a lot of noise for the Wolverines. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Does have a walk and a run that came in the 7th inning.
Well, this is it for the Wolverines. Kendall Patrick's got to extend this rally.
First pitch in there for a strike.
Water shaded well the left center field on the right hitting Kendall Patrick, playing him to pull.
Second pitch. High and outside.
Hoffner's coming in as a defense replacement out in right field.
Second pitch, a swing and a miss. The Northwestern fans are making their presence known as they're now just 1 pitch away from a victory over the Michigan Wolverines. Patrick awaits the 1-2 pitch, fouls it over the stands on the first base side.
And that looked like a similar spot as the Bruder strikeout. We don't want to keep harping on him, but see, that's one where Patrick knows he's not going to maybe be able to make solid contact with it and drive it to the outfield for a hit, but at least knows that he's got to put some wood on it, or I guess metal in this case, and stay alive.
And Patrick is rung up on a low, and that's going to do it. Stop with the save. Schindler with the win. Cronenworth with the loss. And Northwestern takes a game over Michigan here on Saturday, winning 9-8 in a come-from-behind victory that was back and forth. Lots of runs, lots of blue base hits, but also some hard-hit baseballs as well. I'm Zach Shaw. Andrew Hausman on the color commentary. Andrew, final thoughts on the game.
Final thoughts, a disappointing performance by the Wolverines pitching staff. When you give up 9 runs to this offense, no offense to the Northwestern Wildcats, but this is not one of the top hitting teams in the Big Ten. Newdoff giving up 6 runs, 5 of those earned in his 6 innings pitch. Lozier came in with and had a solid inning to bridge the gap. They were hoping for Cronenworth to come in with a 6-out save. Nonetheless, he completely blows it open. Not only does he allow a tying run to score, also allows 2 runs to score, and those are both big. He did not help his own. He helped his own cause with a home run in the bottom of the 8th, but he had already done too much damage both on the mound and in the field with a crucial fielding error that allowed the go-ahead run to score for the Wildcats, and after that, they tacked on 1 more insurance run. So Cronenworth, he takes the loss, and deservedly so, falling to 3-6 on the year. Very disappointing outing from Jacob Cronenworth. I expected coming into this game that he was going to get the last 6 outs with some ease, but unable to do that. And the Wolverines end up falling here. Well, they are still safe. They are already locked into a Big Ten tourney where this will severely hurt their chances of getting a top 4 seed for the tournament in 2 weeks in Minneapolis.
And the final Big Ten game for the Wolverines will occur tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We will have the broadcast for you. It'll be Andrew Hausman and a newcomer, Dalton Polacki. I highly recommend listening in on our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to comment. And feel free to give a listen. Thank you for joining us today. Final score, Michigan 8, Northwestern 9. Rubber match tomorrow, Sunday at 1. I'm Zach Shaw for Andrew Hausman. It's going to do it for us here at WCBN FM. Softball will be occurring in just about 21 minutes. Listen to that. They'll be taking on Northwestern as well. And they will have probably 2 games today, as they will probably play in the Big Ten Championship. But that's going to do it for us. It'll be on our YouTube 2 channel. Excuse us. We're still getting used to the simulcast 2-channel issue, but we hope you can listen to both today. For Andrew Hausman, I'm Zach Shaw. Michigan falling 9-8, but we are going to leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.